Never hear lies, only truth. Realize why they vibe with the flow. Vibe with the blow. 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 Vibe with the vibe with the sky. Wait, you know the rest. I'm blessed. I see you frontin' like you ain't impressed, but I still get requests. I'm playing Zelda on the GameCube. I quit spamming my music. Don't ever try forcing the links. That's a high rule. The wind waker, Mother Nature on my side too, controlling the elements. Go and check my avatar. I'm arrows ahead. Get the point. Moving forward. The battle scars accumulated over time are reminders of what I went through as a minor, but made me a grinder. The trees broke down for this loose leaf. If life's a game of death, I'm Bruce Lee. Ooh wee. Lose sleep on the regular, trying to get this word out. Then I crash nebula. Wish I had a very odd parent, maybe two, but it's cool. Everybody pays dues. Now it's time to make moves. Granny didn't raise me to lose. Think I'm in the mood for a cruise. Wanna ride? Come and vibe with the blue. Come 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 vibe with the. Check this out, y'all. I'm back spazzing like the elderly worth of my cousin Beverly. Never swear away from the truth. Just ask Heather, be weather, be tripping, starting to control like our destiny. Always give you the best of me until the death of me. My weaponry is a paintbrush. Hush, don't tell my secret. They get a hold of it. If you leak it, get it. It's cool. Got you covered though, look. But let me get back to that cool-ish, loose-ish. Why they still lying? They don't do this. Bad at board games, whole world clueless. Selling their soul for Roof Chris. Who's this honored fella? Need a slice, extra mozzarella. Crew fly, let God propellers. Humanity born like they don't trust fun. Why you dodge the teller? You don't know, but my odds are better. Life's a gamble, depending on who holding the cards. You can start living at large or it's bon voyage. Charge it to the game. Me and you ain't the same. I'm thinking bigger pictures. Why you still shrinking the frame, ever blinking the rain? It helps when your eyes dry. Mob with the bright minds, think you funny, wise guy? Midnight marauder with a new tribe, tired of the fake. Come and vibe with the blue sky. Come vibe with the blue sky. Why do you try? We get them high. Take them high. What I do, come vibe with the blue. Vibe with the blue. Pass what up? Vibe with the. Wise grass only greener when it's fertilized. Gave them truth in these songs, they prefer to lies. Destiny beautiful, adrift in her purple eyes. You can't see me, you Stevie. Wondering how I reach more evolutions than Evie and make it look easy. Dream on, yeah. Dream on, dream weaver. Dream
weaver. Up, Earth's mightiest subscribers. It's your boy Ernie, Blerd Without Fear, got the homie Carter Presents in the building. What's good,
Hi.
people?
Hi.
Hi. He's like, that's all I got this morning. See, ass was up too late. Play Persona 5 Royale. That's what you get. He's like, I ain't gonna fight it. Let's see here. Oh, wait. He don't. Carter's camera went to the shadow realm, y'all. Never to be seen or heard from again. Oh, there it is. There it is. Oh, God. Ed Boy said, you high as fuck.
Where'd that come from? I don't even smoke like that. Like, what the hell?
I was about to say, I wish I was. Shit. That edible didn't do shit last night. But that's okay. That's okay, because we are here. It's time to talk about some Black Adam. That's gonna be the show today. We're gonna talk about some Black Adam. There's maybe one other thing we might talk about just because I think it's funny. And that's the only reason that it'll be discussed. But just so everyone's clear, we're gonna start out with a little spoiler-free review. We'll probably do a little spoiler-free review, talk about our thoughts on the movie. Nothing that'll give the game away, and then after that, we're gonna do a spoiler discussion where we'll kind of deep dive a little further into our thoughts on the movie. And then, of course, we'll get another topic. And, of course, and as per the usual, we're going to give you our recommended reads for the week. And we will also be answering your questions and all that good stuff from the Discord, the chat, super chats, everything. So, yeah, there you go. Let's see. You know what? I kind of came in a little over-prepared for this. And it'll probably show here in just a moment, because I actually came up with a little way we can kind of quickly summarize this shit. Let's see. We've got, first and foremost, this movie has been in development hell. Carter, can you believe it for, what was it, 14, almost 15 years? Maybe even a little over 15 years?
I think I saw one person say that he was touted to be Black Adam in like 2007, 2008.
Yeah, it's been a while. Well, okay, so here's the funny thing about that. It's funny you bring that up. Originally, he was supposed to be Shazam.
Okay, see,
yeah.
I thought at one point, or maybe this was one of those Sinbad situations, I thought he was supposed to be Lobo at one point.
That was also... Okay, so they wanted him for... Like, Lobo was the rumor. But then, in and around that same time frame, Shazam was, the big deal. This is back when he was still, like, an active wrestler. Like, he was still, like... He had only just recently started acting. Like, in big movies. Like, The Rundown was still relatively recent.
That movie still holds up, actually.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
No.
Some of them early WWE movies. That and The Condemned. I say a lot of those WWE movies, but I'm going to say just them two are the only ones that still hold up right now.
Well, and so here's the funny thing. It's funny you say that. So, yeah. Early 2000s. So it's actually been almost closer to 20 years now. It was early 2000s. So originally he was supposed to be Shazam. That was who they originally wanted him for. And then it turned to him just playing Black Adam in a Shazam movie. And then it became, later on, Black Adam getting his own movie. And over the course of that time, Black Adam has gone from being in and around that time, he was already kind of on the path of no longer being just a straight-up villain. You would regularly see this man in, like, the Justice Society comics, Justice League, Superman, various and sundry other comics where sometimes he was a good guy, sometimes he was a bad guy, just kind of depending on what the situation was.
So Herbert Scott just said something disgusting.
Oh, what's up? Oh,
since Tom Brady was a rookie, bro.
Dude, get out of here. Get the fuck out of here with that.
Somebody else said since the Crank That challenge started, and we know how that almost turned out for a few people. Crank That Killer ain't playing with y'all asses.
Look, hey, Just make sure if you got to buy some new Nikes from the shoe man, just make sure you wait till the crank that.
hey, why you bring that up all the time? Why you can't not bring up the shoe man? Don't like.
I'm the shoe man. Of course I got him.
Let's move on.
But no, why is this thing not working? I'm a little high key triggered right now. My hold on, I gotta mess with this. So there we go. Yeah, get out of that. The main thing though, for those who are honestly, I would say for those of you who are unfamiliar with the character of Black Adam, pretty much the main thing you really need to know in regards to the character or whatever the case, Black Adam is, for all intents and purposes, he is the dude, and I will put this up here in just a second, but basically what you need to know is Black Adam is not about that foolishness. He is not about that life. He is about that life. That's actually half the problem. He is about that life. He's a guy who started out as the champion, which if you're familiar with Shazam in the least bit, that kind of lets you know he was the original, or not the original. There were other champions before him, but he was basically the champion who had the power thousands of years before Billy Batson. Guy is pretty. He's pretty out there. Like he's a pretty out there guy. His whole thing, at least for me, his main thing for a long time was just his don't give a fuck attitude. His desire to just beat the brakes off any and all potential people trying to mess with his shit. Eventually, he kind of became the Doctor Doom, kind of like how Doctor Doom did in the Marvel Comics universe. Black Adam was doing about roughly the same time, where he started kind of calming down in his old age. He started, being a little more chill, and depending on what crises was happening in the DC Comics universe, this guy would flip sides and be like, okay, hey, look, if the world is on the line, I'm gonna throw hands. And I guess that's really kind of where we get to with this. That's basically what this entire movie is about. Like if you see right here, Black Adam will put paws on just about anybody. Now, granted, that's not Superman. That's Ultraman. But yeah, like I say, he'll put paws on anybody. He don't care. Like I say, he will put them electrified paws on you in a heartbeat. But this movie is pretty much all about that. Like, if you went to this thinking, oh, it's gonna be this movie where, and this isn't a spoiler, so I don't care about talking about this part. If you go to this movie thinking that you're gonna see a Black Adam who is a villain for the entirety of the movie or the majority of the movie, not really. He's just an angry motherfucker.
He's not even a villain in the movie. People just call him that.
He's
what he does.
Yeah. He's referred to because of what history depicted him as, which isn't unfair, but it is almost a little hyperbolic. So, for those who don't know, he gets summoned after being away for 5,000 years, and he comes back just in time to find his home of Kahndaq occupied by the DC Comics villain group Intergang. And in the midst of all this, DC's latest MacGuffin is about to fall into the hands of a demonic entity who has history with Black Adam. And that's pretty much what you need to know. movie's about what? It was about just north of 2 hours. It's not super long. It was about right at the threshold for me. Movie comes in, does what it's got to do. They do try and pull a little bait and switch with you at the beginning. They're trying to mess with you about who is what, like you can't recognize a certain somebody's voice. But and they do some interesting CG with Dwayne Johnson that might have some people get flashbacks of Captain America, the Winter Soldier, not Winter Soldier, but the first Avenger.
Shout out to Black Adam only being from Kahndaq in like 2-3 scenes. And what I mean by that is because for the majority of this 2 hours, that nigga only speak English.
Yeah. Well, it's one of those deals where he speaks Kahndaqi, like, in the beginning. It take that dude, like,
I'm counting like
it takes him, like, he's literally once you get out of the first act and get into like the movie, like the movie proper is starting off, that's when it's like, oh, he speaks. But you know what I actually kind of wondered? I actually wondered if they did that thing. You know how they do in comic books where like someone will be talking, and they do this in movies too a lot of times.
I know where you're going with this.
Like the person is speaking a different language, but as the movie progresses, they start speaking English, and what the director wants you to think is that they're still speaking their language. It's just now there's no longer subtitles. You can just understand them because it's supposed to be one of those deals. It's a narrative device that's been in movies for a long time, and some people use it well, some people don't. But it does kind of feel like he just immediately adapts. But I guess, honestly, that is technically part of his power set, because Shazam can do the same thing.
So let me tell you why I don't agree with that, and I think that kind of argument falls flat. Number one, I did see several other people saying maybe that's just a part of the Shazam DLC content, and everybody just know what he's saying.
Well, I mean, that is a part of his power, though. A part of his power is that he can understand. He has, like, once he hears something, he hears a language, or someone speaks something to him, he can figure it out like that, because part of his power is intelligence.
but my only thing, well, I think that kind of argument falls through just because how is James Bond and Savage
I'm not saying that he's still talking Kahndaqi. I'm saying that he picked up English real quick because of like how his powers work. That's what I'm talking about.
Like, all he had to do was break off one dude and he immediately knew English.
Well, actually, it was somebody we'll talk about here in a moment.
Okay. No, I'm not trying to spoil it or anything like that, but it seemed like, okay, first person, and you've seen this in the trailer, because he snatches the one dude in the neck, he grabs him, chokes him out. He's speaking Kahndaqi then, and then the first few bullets that are shot at him, he just understands English and just like, yeah, I want 10 seconds. He just wants he want to go 10 seconds with everybody at that point.
Well, no, he didn't really start speaking English till he met the kid. He was still speaking Kahndaqi. He was still. That's what I was talking about. He was still speaking Kahndaqi, like when he was breaking all those folks off. Like when he was fighting all those dudes at first, he wasn't speaking English. Because they even have what he said in subtitles. Like what he was saying is like your magic is weak. Like that's because he saw bullets as magic. But yeah, it's. The main takeaway here is that let's look at this. How was The Rock as Black Adam? I guess let's start with that. I will say The Rock was trying really hard to.
Hard as The Rock?
He was hard. Hey, you said it, not me. The Rock was trying really hard not to be The Rock. Like, he was actually trying to be the character. This is something I said was probably going to hurt the movie because people are going to go, not for me, but just people are going to go see this movie. They're going to want to see The Rock. They're going to expect to go to this movie, want to see, do you smell what The Rock is cooking? They're going to want to see affable, fast and furious Rock. He's not really that character. There's a couple of moments where, like, he says and does some things where, like, you're like, oh, okay, that Hobbs has slipped out. But but for the most part, he's actually trying to be the character, because Black Adam doesn't joke. He doesn't quip. Not really. I mean, he's just, he's Black Adam. That dude's serious as a heart attack most of the time. And I will say, I feel like both himself and the director of this movie, whose name I will butcher, so I'm just gonna, I want to say it's Wami Colette Sarah, but I could be wrong. But basically, I could tell they read certain Black Adam comics. There's actually a very specific comic that I know for a fact they read, and is the basis for this entire movie. That specific comic being Justice League of America 7.4, featuring Black Adam from 2013. That comic painted a lot of this because it's pretty much the same story. You have Adriano Tomaz, which, for those unfamiliar, I guess we should probably talk about these things too. But Adriano Tomaz, who plays, or who is played by, Jesus. I think her name is Sarah Shahi. She plays she plays Adriano Tomaz. For those who don't know, that is the character who eventually ends up becoming ISIS. She ends up eventually, like, it doesn't happen in this movie, so it's not even a spoiler whether it does or doesn't. Just don't expect that. But the whole point of it is that she summons him. She basically summons him when she's in a moment of danger. That's how he winds up there. It's the same. That's what happens in that comic. It happens here in this movie. It's all in the very beginning. But getting back to The Rock. There were a lot of moments I could tell were taken straight out of the comics. There are certain poses, certain ways he held his hand, certain ways. There's a point where at one point he sits down in a very specific way. And it's all literally.
Come on, that. Just say it. He sat down just like the Fortnite emote.
I was gonna say it a little more eloquently than that. I was gonna say that he sat down just like in this image right here, which is from, I think that was from one of the JSA covers. But there's a point where that comes up and it's like, oh dude, he literally had the legs and his feet in the exact same position. Like, you could tell they actually paid attention to the details. And of course, it's The Rock, okay? I can tell when The Rock is trying versus when he isn't. You know what it reminded me of? It was like Rock was trying to be as serious as humanly possible, but still kind of have some of that affableness that people come to movies to see from him. But was he like 100% Black Adam? No. And what I mean by that is, was he like the Black Adam from the comics? Depends on what what run you're reading at that point. But not Black Adam as I prefer him. Let me put it like that. But was he bad as Black Adam? I don't think so. I don't think he was bad. I think he did the best he could with what he had at that point.
If all you know is the Priest Black Adam stuff, you are going to be upset because this ain't that. If you know Black Adam from the one DC animated film they did with Superman, if you know Black Adam from Injustice, you got a good idea.
If you're more familiar with I would even dare say, honestly, I could kind of see him as the current Christopher Priest Black Adam if they decide to go in that direction. But yeah, he's more of, I would actually say he's more closer to and I know some people are going to take this the wrong way. If you had read any of the Bendis Justice League that was recently out, where Black Adam and Naomi had joined the team. That's what he reminded me of more than anything else.
I completely forgot that Bendis wrote Justice League for a minute.
He did.
I completely forgot about that.
When,
but people are going to take what you're saying the wrong way, because people are already taking what I'm saying the wrong way, because I already see people in the chat, me taking the piss out of the English stuff, and now people are taking this shit way too fucking serious.
Yeah.
If you all have been here long enough, you know how we are. You know when we're being serious. You know when we're not. If you don't, get out.
Like, gone.
Just go.
He said, go.
Or just have LJ Brown or the Elite X Warren or Hideo put you on game, because I'm not going to keep doing it.
Nah.
But please, sir, continue.
Oh, yeah. So let's. Rock was. Once again, I'm just going to say right now, your mileage is going to vary with Rock depending on how you feel about that sort of thing. It didn't bother me. I thought he did good. I don't know. What were you kind of hinted at what you thought?
Yeah, it was fun.
Okay.
It was for the. I don't want this to be taken the wrong way.
No, go ahead, say it. Say it.
Well, you can tell you watching the movie with The Rock, but I don't want that to be taken negatively.
Okay, I see what you mean.
Okay. But yeah, this is the first time we've seen a Black Adam live action anything. So I think for this being the starting point, if they do wind up changing it somewhere down the line, here you go.
Yeah,
that's fine, because now you have something to start with, as opposed of making your own thing and it'll either be really good or really bad. Now you kind of have, what's the word I'm looking for? You kind of have benchmark to start with now.
Yeah.
But yeah, with him being Black Adam, I was fine with it. I was cool with it.
Yeah, like it's the same. I guess let's go and get a couple other things. I will say this movie, it is rated PG-13. A lot of people, for whatever reason, inexplicably, maybe, went into this thing and it was going to be rated R. I don't know why, because I saw people talking about that online.
Apparently, there was something that came out that said that they had to change a few action scenes in there because those scenes would have made it rated R. That's what I tweeted about it.
Yeah. That's and the thing is, the director even came out and said the movie was never going to be rated R to begin with. Like, they were always going for PG-13. So yeah, and I know what scenes they're talking about too, because one of them is very early in the movie.
Yeah.
Where you know what I'm talking about. I'll say is
you could clearly tell it was supposed to be some. It was supposed to be some blood right there, or we were supposed to see some heartbeats. Like so the scene you're talking about, I sent it to our homeboy Bishop, and the first words out of his mouth, I like the way they did it, but you can clearly tell this should have been that was R rated like a motherfucker. Like, so,
I mean, I will say there's a big difference between should have been and what was intended. Because I feel like it's kind of like Quentin Tarantino. A lot of people don't recognize this about Quentin Tarantino movies. Quentin Tarantino doesn't, at least in the early days, doesn't show a lot of violence. Like, I mean, yeah, once you got to like Kill Bill, yeah, there was lots of violence because there was sword play. You kind of had to have that. But like, even that, even like you look at like Reservoir Dogs, you look at Pulp Fiction, you look at even Jackie Brown, there's parts of the movie where something violent is happening that you never see. And that's kind of what they did. And I will actually say too, I was actually talking with the homie Robo Strange about this. It was the Captain America effect. And for those who don't know what I'm talking about, when you watch a MCU movie with Captain America, and you see him flinging that shield that you know is made out of some of the strongest materials known to man, and left and right, you see that shield bouncing off walls, popping people in the neck, in the forehead, in the side of their head, in the lower part of their spine. And while you don't see any blood or gore, you immediately think to yourself, that dude's dead. Or if that dude is not dead, he is never eating solid food ever again.
Yeah, if you're using that logic, I mean, Black Panther's nails alone, every time he scratch you, your face should be on his hands.
Yes.
We using that logic.
Well, and that is actually why that is actually why in the MCU, a lot of the times when they fight against enemies like minions, it's usually either aliens, robots, or some otherwise undescribable monster. Because you can get away with the Motion Picture Association, the MPAA, you can get away with that. Like, you can be as violent as you want to a robot or an alien or some CGI monster or whatever, because they're not human. Like, like, there's a scene at the end of the movie where he gets really violent with a character, and it's for the most part shown. They don't really cut away from it as much, but it's because of the nature of who and what it is that they can do that. Like, if it was a normal person, would not be able to do that. But yeah, all that was an aid of saying that, yeah, it's a lot. I saw a lot of people online saying that, oh, you could tell they really wanted a rated R. They didn't actually want a rated R. They actually wanted PG-13 from the jump. They just did everything that they could get away with in a PG-13 movie. And they basically did that thing that your kid does. They went straight up to the line, stood there, looked at you, smirked, and then walked off. That's what they do. It's like they're going to put their foot right at the line, not going to cross it. They're going to let you know they know it's there. And what else was there? I will say one of my other issues. I've been pretty kind to this movie so far. So let me talk about some issues that I do have with it. Some I actually talked about on TikTok was the villain. The villain of the movie. And this isn't a once again. This is not really this is not really a spoiler either. The villain's played by Marwan Kenzari. Some of you may recognize him from the Aladdin remake. He played Jafar on the Aladdin remake, and he also was in the Old Guard on Netflix. He was one of the immortals in that. He plays Ishmael, who is trying to get the crown of Sabak, and that should instantly let you know he is the bad guy. While he's not doing a terrible job, there is no dimension to him beyond he's the bad guy. That's it. He is the bad guy. There is no other... There's no... I mean, he has a motivation, but the motivation is very much, I'm the bad guy. I am the bad guy.
And they don't even tease it. You can peep out. He's gonna be the anti really early on. So.
Oh, no, because you know what they do? There's a part in the beginning where they try to bait and switch you. They try and make you think it's the other dude. And it's like, no. But once again, for what he had to do, I will say there were parts of his performance I didn't like. I'll save it for I'll technically say for the spoiler section of the review, but I'll just say there's certain parts of the performance I didn't care for. How'd you feel about him? Other than the one note thing, did you think any? Yeah, okay, there you go. Not a very honestly, okay, let's keep it a buck here. I'm not gonna sit here and pretend like the villain that is in this movie is supposed to be some nuanced character, because the Sabak of DC Comics is also incredibly one note. Like, the Sabak is like, if you look up one note villain in the dictionary, you will probably see a picture of 20 other villains and plus Sabak right next to him, and he would probably be at the top 5 of the one note villain list, but that's another story altogether. I will say another thing I didn't care for in this movie is,
please say it.
Please goddamn. Look, I want to show you. Look, I want to show y'all the real villain. This is the real villain of the movie right here. Is this motherfucker right here. This isn't from the movie per se, but this is just a picture of the actor in another film. But Bodhi Sabangui, who plays Amon. And for those, if you're saying, man, that name sounds real familiar, why does that name sound so familiar to me? It is because eventually the character of Amon becomes, in the comics, not in the movie, in the comics, that's the character Osiris. So, like, so you go into this movie, you're like, oh man, this kid's gonna be lit. It's like, no, this kid's terrible. Now, granted, I will be fair, the kid is a relatively new actor.
I don't care.
But, I mean, they've only been in like 2 or 3 things. But the thing is, you're in a big budget DC Comics movie. No. Like, them were some of the most wooden ass lines. Because it's not just what he's saying. I think he's scripted terribly. But it's also that he delivers a lot of... I actually, to be brutally honest, you know what? I'm not just going to lay all this at his feet. I'm not going to lay all this evil at his feet. I'm also going to lay it at the actress who plays Adriana as well. I didn't really particularly care for her either.
Yeah,
I didn't. Like, honestly,
yep.
These are the real villains of the movie. These are the real villains of the movie. Because, I don't know, I feel like there's so many moments, and I guess this kind of ties into another thing I want to talk about with this, is there's another core theme of this movie that I'm not crazy about. And that is, there's too much back and forth over being a real hero and being an anti-hero. Like, being a villain. Being someone who, that whole... Okay, I'm going to tell you what it reminds me of, and I don't expect everyone to have this frame of reference, but it's the best way I can put it. It always reminds me of the argument that I always used to have and used to always hear people have when they would play Dungeons and Dragons, and there's a paladin in the party where someone thinks, oh, I'm playing a paladin, so if I'm good, everybody has to be good. And then there's always that one character who wants to be the one evil character in the group, and they think, oh, well, my way's better than all your ways because I'm evil. And evil means I do whatever I want, whenever I want. Or they use the whole chaotic neutral thing. Everybody misuses chaotic neutral. I don't think I've met a single person who's ever played Dungeons and Dragons who has ever actually played chaotic neutral as chaotic neutral. People think chaotic neutral means you could be as evil as you want up to a point. Kind of like what we were just talking about, walking up to the line. That's not what chaotic neutral is. But the thing is, there's a lot of that in this movie, where there are characters who are, and there's no point in hiding it. The Justice Society is clearly in this movie where they're like, no, you're being a bad guy. And he's like, no, I'm being effective. It's like,
you could have said that shit once, twice, maybe 3 times.
That shit comes up like 8 or 10 times in the movie. in a scene, right after a scene, they just got through saying that shit. It's like, dude, we get it. Black Adam is... Look, I get it. He is supposed to be a bad guy. We're not supposed to like him, but he's trying to be... I guess he's half-assed trying to be a good guy or something. I'm like, look, I get it. Like, you know, okay, Carter, remember how, like, we always would see people talk about, man, they're just beating me over my head with this woke shit. No. This is what beating somebody over the head is with this. Because as I... And this isn't even a spoiler, because this is even in one of the trailers. if I'm not mistaken. But the whole thing with that we see in the trailer with The Rock and Hawkman, where he's like, oh, heroes don't kill, and he's like, but I do.
Multiply that by like 10 more times, you're gonna see that shit. And I'm not even talking about the whole movie. No. I'm talking about right after that scene.
Yeah, right after that. Yeah, actually, there's a whole thing after that. Well, here's the thing. We see it in the trailers. In the trailers, we literally see Rock send a dude to the Shadow Realm. Like, dude literally smacked the fuck out of somebody and sent them flying in the air. Goofy yell and everything. And we get it. You kill people. It's okay. You know what? Okay. You know what? Y'all gonna hate me for this. This reminds me of Deadpool 1. Where Deadpool kept reminding you, beating you over the head with the fact that this was a rated R movie. Like how they were always cussing. Like they always had to curse and use like really... Like they had to use curse words in a way people don't actually use curse words to justify the fact they had a rated R. To remind people. Dude, yes, they literally, every few seconds they were cursing. Every few seconds, because it was one of those things where they had to justify having that rated R. Because people are fucking children, and they giggle when they hear people curse. But that was like, it was like literally, I think there were scenes where they literally said the word fuck like 20 times in one shot. That's what it reminded me of on that level of nauseatingness, that they kept reminding you Black Adam is a villain, or is supposed to be a villain.
So let me say this, because I saw somebody in the chat bring it up. So now you can correct me if I'm wrong here, but Ernie's not saying that it was nagging that he was killing people. How he threw the dude to the fucking Shadow Realm. That's not what I'm saying.
I don't care.
What's being said is he can kill those people. That's fine.
Right.
But to constantly be told.
Yeah. That is like literally, and like instance upon instance. Because here, let me point something out here. In the scene I'm talking about here, I want to point out the scene I'm talking about, where people might be misinterpreting something that I'm saying. Okay, so when I said that he kills people, cool. This scene right here, where dude hits him with the fucking flick stick, and and y'all know what happens immediately after. This dude gets flung into the Shadow Realm.
Yeah.
We see scenes like this so much. We've seen so many different scenes where the Black Adam is killing people in the trailer. I get it. We know he's supposed to be a bad guy. I don't need to be reminded by other characters around him talking to him. And it's not just the people trying to convince him that he's wrong for doing the things he's doing. It's also the people who are telling him he's okay for doing the things that he's doing. Like, there's a lot of that, too. There's a lot of, like, it's not just Black Adam. There's, like, other characters like, oh, no, it's totally cool. I think this is perfectly fine. And it's like, I don't care. I was like, can we just get back to the story? Because I was actually enjoying it. I was actually rather enjoying just watching, because there's like several moments where you just see Black Adam just beating the fool out of folks, killing folks left and right. And I'm like, dude, this is cool. This is what I came here for. I don't need the moralizing. Like, not to this magnitude.
That was one of the big positives, because there have been several films where people will say that, I don't like seeing the main character depowered to where regular people are doing this or doing that. It's like Metroid.
Yeah,
where you have all of Samus's powers at the beginning, and then you get nerfed right after, and you got to work your way through it. That is not the case with this movie.
No,
Black Adam is on 10 for all 2 hours.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No. Look, let me tell you something. If honestly, if anything, this was one of those scenarios where, like, they constantly wanted you to know nobody can really, like, fuck with him.
Which also is confusing.
Yes.
Because going into spoiler, I don't want to go into a spoiler, but something gets brought up.
Yes.
That could do something. Don't even matter.
Nah, not later on. No, not so much.
But again, the Teth Adam this was, man, whoo, boy.
Yeah.
That boy was on 10 the entire movie.
Oh yeah, 100%. 100%. So let's get back to some things I did enjoy. Get back to some things I did enjoy. Because I don't want to get too far away from it. The Justice Society, for as much as I didn't care for the moralizing, the excessive amount of moralizing. I don't mind moralizing in a story as long as it's going somewhere and not being overused. That said, I actually really enjoyed the Justice Society in this movie, except for a certain part of it we'll talk about in spoilers. But the only other thing I would probably say is I wish they would have had their own movie. But I did like how they were introduced in this. I do feel like maybe they should have given just a little bit more information on the Justice Society for those who are not familiar with them. I am familiar with them, so I was able to take the ball and run it all the way back for a touchdown as far as the information they were giving me. But there were people around me in the theater who were very confused because there was a lady sitting next to me. She's like, "Oh, it's the Justice League." Okay, Carter, remember what movie was it you told me about where you went and you said the people sitting next to you were constantly narrating everything that was happening on the screen? Was that the Batman or was that Multiverse of Madness? Or was it Spider-Man? Was it Spider-Man? No, I remember you telling me.
I remember what you're talking about. I cannot remember what movie it was. I know exactly what you're talking about, though. Oh my god, I forgot about that.
There was a couple next to me. They didn't do it the whole movie, but if someone said something, like they would repeat. They did the anime thing. They did the anime thing where someone says something and the character who hears it immediately repeats it. Like that, they did that thing. I am the hidden leaf of the hidden valley in the shadow of the forest of darkness. And like, the hidden leaf in the hidden valley of the hidden shadow of the forest of darkness. Like, it was like they were doing that shit. They were doing that shit.
I like how you reference Naruto, Hidden Valley Ranch, and something else in the same breath.
Ain't got shit to do with shit. But no, but you know how anime does. They do that shit where someone says something, someone immediately repeats it. That's what they did almost like for about half the movie. Half the movie they did that. But yeah, there were lots of people who didn't know who certain characters were. They didn't know where they came from. There is a gag that happens very early in the movie that no one in the theater got except for maybe 3 people. That had to do with like the Justice Society and the nature of how those heroes operate. So I thought they were great. I will say this, and I'll save my further thoughts on this, just for the spoiler discussion. But yeah, Justice Society, great, except for maybe one thing. And I will definitely say, as far as like characters who, if anyone could actually steal the show from The Rock, because Rock is so charismatic, even when he's being muted, he's charismatic. The one person who actually stole the show from him.
I wish you would lie and say who I think you're going to say. Come on.
Who you think I'm going to say?
Because there's something else I want to say, but I want you to finish this. Boy, I swear to God.
No, it's Dr. Fate. Pierce Brosnan as Dr. Fate. You know the man. You know. Look, and you know what? I should have known this was going to be the case. Remember when we watched the trailer? Remember how we saw that shot where Dr. Fate came out that teleportation? And he came out that teleportation. He kind of had that little woo. I was like, man, Pierce Brosnan was in there acting his ass off.
Yeah, Pierce Brosnan was fired in this.
Yeah, remember,
I really liked Pierce Brosnan in this.
Yeah, like he was doing his, like, honestly, I felt like he was taking this. So you know how we said that Rock was taking himself incredibly serious in this movie?
Yeah,
I feel like Pierce Brosnan was taking himself even more serious. Because, like, he came as he said, no.
I'm okay with that.
No, I loved it. Because I was like, dude, this motherfucker came in as Dr. Fate. It was like, no. We doing this for real. Pierce was like, nah, this is probably my last opportunity to play a superhero in something. Let's go. And I will say, Dr. Fate was actually I will say, if there's any negative about Dr. Fate, he does some things in this movie. And I'm not saying this because, DC's copying Marvel. No, because Dr. Fate does this shit too, and has always been doing this shit. But there's a couple of things that Doctor Strange does in his movies that Dr. Fate does in this movie. And I know some people are gonna be like, "Oh, look, they're copying Marvel. They're copying Marvel." It's like, no, they're not copying Marvel.
Okay.
This is the thing that he does. But I get why people will feel that way.
With you saying that, I want to say something else that's fucking stupid that people bring up. Since you just brought up something fucking stupid that people bring up, I want to get this out of the way now while it's still fresh because I've seen it in the chat a few times. Can we stop with this whole fucking Rock has in his contract where he can't lose fights? Stop.
Yeah.
People, I'd like to think that the people that watch us, the people that listen to us on Spotify, the people that have come up to me in LA, the people who come up to you they have some form of intelligence. But when you are in our chat, when you are on Twitter, when you are on Instagram talking about how The Rock has it in his contract where he can't lose fights and he can't appear to be weak, when I can name off like good 4 or 5 movies where he looks just like what you're talking about, stop it. Stop it. Use your brain. Stop thinking because you see it on Twitter or some shit or somebody you cool with retweeted it, so that shit just got to be true. Stop that shit. It's called clickbait. Ernie literally did it on the fucking thumbnail for this. Black Adam, was it really that bad? All we've been doing was talking about the shit that we really liked about this fucking movie. Please, people, you, and I don't want to quote convicted pervert, the urine king himself, R. Kelly, but use your common sense, people. Please. How do you all even know what's in Dwayne Johnson's contract? You think you really gonna find out what's in Dwayne Johnson's contract for anything on Twitter, on Instagram, just because a nigga on YouTube done told you something? Come on, man.
Well, hey, people be believing that shit. Look, just for everyone else's re-edification.
That's stupid. Use your common sense.
There
That's
you go.
all I'm saying. Come on, man. Come on now.
So, and also, can we just be clear? And this isn't even a spoiler. He doesn't win every fight in this. Not really. So let's just put it that way. Now, that said, I guess the only other things I'll say as far as like non-spoiler stuff goes, and this is just in regards to the Justice Society, I liked both. Was it Quintessa Swindle, who played
Cyclone.
Yeah, she played Cyclone. I
really wish she had more to do.
Yeah, no, same. Because she actually was a really cool character. I wasn't sure how well people would receive her, but I thought she did a fantastic job. Like with the very little that she's given, I thought she did a fantastic job.
I will absolutely agree with that. I wish they told her more than, okay, now on this scene, I want you to spin and look pretty.
Yeah, because that's what she does a lot.
I wish she got to do more than that, because the few scenes where she was interacting with Hawkman, with Dr. Fate, with product placement.
Oh, that is actually, I'm glad you said that.
I really liked what she was doing, so I really wish she got more to do. Hopefully, maybe if we do get a Justice Society film, or maybe if we get something with her on HBO Max, I'd be really interested in seeing it, because the little that we did get of her acting, where she wasn't just spinning and looking pretty, I really enjoyed it.
Oh yeah, it actually kind of gave me hope for what the MCU could do with Storm from a visual effects perspective. Because there's quite a few shots where she's creating, like, as her name would imply, she's creating cyclones and tornadoes, and it looks really cool. Like, and she uses them in very interesting ways. She uses them in, like, it's not just like, oh, she made this and that's the end of it. Like, no, they actually let her use them in very clever ways. I will also say, I know, now this is one I know some people's mileage will vary. with the character Adam Smasher, played by Noah Centineo. He was kind of a goofball. He was pretty much a goofball, and I know.
Character in the movie.
Nah, not worse than that kid. Oh hell no, not worse than that kid.
He was number 3. It's the kid. Yeah. It's the before he became Sabak.
Yeah, Ishmael,
and then product placement right behind it.
Yeah.
Just to go back real quick.
Yeah, there's a lot of product placement.
I'm gonna let Ernie finish, but one thing I was gonna say when Ernie brought up that kid that's in this film. So it was funny. Ernie and I saw the movie at the exact same time, but because of time zone differences, we didn't. But both of our showings started at the same time. Yeah. Ernie, how many times did I text you telling you, I really hope they kill this kid?
Oh, it was more than a few. It was more than a few. Because, I mean, I'm not going to lie to you. This kid, oh, man. God damn, this kid got on my last damn nerves. Because it was, like, you know what it was? Okay, I'm going to tell you what it reminds me. And I know why you didn't like him. I know exactly why you didn't like him. And I know why I didn't like him. Because it's not because he was a kid. It's not even really so much because he was... It's not even so much because he was acted poorly. He reminds me of every person I have ever bumped into in a comic book shop who thinks they know way more about comics than anybody else. And not just that, but they have to remind you how much they know. Like, he was just, it's like, it's just constantly like, oh, well, what about this? Oh, what about that? Can you do this? Can you do... Get the fuck out of my face with that shit. I don't care. Like, there were a couple of times I actually was like, man, somebody please slap the taste out of this kid's mouth. Please. So he will shut up. Please. But no, but getting back to Noah Centineo as Adam Smasher, I didn't mind him. I actually thought he was okay. There were a couple, he was kind of a bumbling idiot because he was supposed to be the new kid on the block. Like, they're doing something kind of different with Adam Smasher in this. In the comics, Adam Smasher is a little bit more serious of a character. Not by, no, yeah, probably by a lot compared to this version. And I saw a lot of people, like, in the audience, they were like, oh, wow, his mask looks just like Deadpool's. Because, you know, they do the whole white eye mask deal in this movie with the character, which I am perfectly fine with. It doesn't bother me at all. I actually think I think people should be done that way. If you're a character who has a mask that is where you're typically depicted with white eyes, you can't really see it in this shot, but yeah, there you have it. But yeah, I thought it was cool. I thought it was fine. It was what it should have been, I guess, up to a point. But I will say, him as comic relief, I thought was hilarious because it actually brought some stuff out of another character we'll talk about here in just a little bit. And I guess as we get ready to do that, let's go ahead and jump into our spoiler discussion. But before we full on lean into them, I want to address some super chats here. Let's see here. We got... Ooh, I'm gonna have to do this manually, so forgive me, because for whatever reason, Stream Deck is not having it today. Oh, there it is. I just apparently had to press it very freaking hard, which is strange. So Xylas with the $5 super chat says, dropping a bone to you, my boy. Can't wait to see what you two thought of the movie. Hey, we giving it. We giving it. This is actually from earlier in the show, too, so just, yeah, so people know. We also got one from Gokon Shuri's Baby's Father with a $5 super chat says, I forgot to put in vacation days. It's getting busy at my job, and no one notices. They about to be mad as hell tomorrow. Dude, you ever had that happen to you, Carter? Where, like, you get ready to go on vacation and folks didn't pay attention?
Several times. Man, I completely forgot about that. I'm sorry you did. I'm still walking out the door.
Hey, bye. Let's see. Yeah, shit, go cut. With $2 super chat, Black Adam was Black Panther to bald people. Hey, I mean, to be fair, I did come in there with shaving cream on my head. But But no,
so you just walking in the movie theater with white all over your head, big time. That's what you do.
Yeah. Just,
that's what you.
Yeah. That's what we do now. That's what we do now.
Okay.
That's how we do now.
Now who is we? Who the fuck is we? We ain't doing it like that, big time. No sir.
No, sorry. I'm joking. I'm very clearly joking here.
But yeah, real quick, you all. I understand we're gonna have some people that don't like the movie. We're gonna have some people that do like the movie. Just don't spoil it in the chat.
Yeah, please.
Just like you can like I told to Neon Darkness. You can call the movie garbage. You can talk your shit. Just there are still some people that have not seen it.
Yeah.
So just let's keep the spoilers to a minimum until we start talking about it.
Yeah, please and thank you. Because don't be like that. Don't be like that person that I had to delete from the channel forever. Who did something very similar in a comment.
What do you?
I happened to read. Remember I told you it happened to Multiverse of Madness. Someone had commented on a video we posted. I think it was either on the Blerd Cave or the clip I shared from the Blerd Cave. And they basically gave a blow by blow of the entire Illuminati scene, which I didn't know how I was going to play, which may have actually factored into why it didn't bother me as much as it bothered some people, because I already knew what was going to happen. But that said, still,
Ernie is clearly sponsored by Manscaped.
Hey, they need to? They need to pull up. I'm trying to get look, I'm trying to get right, man. I'm trying to get right.
I got it in my bathroom right now. When I saw that one of their products was called Crop Preserver, I immediately knew what it was, and it made me laugh.
Dude, I swear for God. So I'm double checking myself real quick. I want to make sure I didn't miss any.
We just got 2 new ones. Because they're not popping up like they normally do in the top.
No, they're not.
YouTube chat is being weird.
Yeah, I'm not sure what's going on here. I'm actually going back and looking. Yeah, okay. Yep, there they are. I'm seeing them now. So it's being weird. Anyway, LJ Brown with the 24 months into Blerd Club Silvermine says this movie has a lower RT than Wonder Woman 84 critics. Shake my head. Dude, that's the thing I'm trying to get. I actually saw people saying this was the worst movie, not just worst DC movie. I heard people saying this was the worst movie ever. Like, me and hyperbolic is all get out.
Fucking stupid, because
dude, there's been way worse movies than this one. Way worse.
Especially trying to put it in the same boat as Wonder Woman 84. Get the fuck out of here.
Bruh, Wonder Woman 84 is a whole other level of bad. Hell, people acting like Green Lantern never came out. And I'll admittedly say I don't hate Green Lantern as much as a lot of people do.
I could not believe so many people fucking despised that movie.
Yeah,
I didn't think it was that bad.
I thought the movie was just, like, honestly, I feel the same way about Green Lantern that I felt about... Actually, no, that's actually being a little too mean. I'll put it this way. It didn't really bug me. There was only one thing I didn't like about the Green Lantern movie, just 100% didn't like. And it was the nature of how they did the suit. That was really the only problem I had with it, was the CGI suit. I thought the movie overall was largely inoffensive.
I think one reason I feel like that, did you go see it in theaters?
Yes.
I think that's why I don't mind that movie as much, just because I waited for that shit at Red Box.
I mean, I'm not mad at you. Well, okay, you know what? What actually really pissed me off about that movie is that I thought Sinestro was great. And then they just said, nope. Get that shit on out of here. He got his yellow ring and everything. And they're like, nope. Get that shit the fuck up out of here.
Yeah.
But let's see, we got another one. We got one from Ed Boy in the cut. Says, I like the movie, but there was a much better movie that could have been done with Teth, Hawkman, and Fate. Also, Hawkman, you have wings. Why are you running? Yeah, there were a couple of moments where that dude was running, and I didn't understand it. I was like, bruh, you know you got the Konami code on, right? You know you can fly, right? Okay.
Man, listen. I said it in the Discord, and I'm going to say it here live, just so everybody watching live can hear it, so everybody on Spotify can hear this. If you watch this movie because you wanted to see Thanagarians do some work. Go watch Justice League Unlimited now. Go watch the Justice League cartoon. This ain't it. If you want to see somebody from Thanagar doing some work, yeah, you might want to go.
You came to the wrong movie.
Yeah. You might want to go watch Shira and Green Lantern. Just put some work in on somebody big time. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
This what was it? Now is Rotten Tomatoes way off with their rating of this movie, or does it kick a little hiney? Here's the thing, and this is Monumental Comics with $10 super chat. I want to pull this up. Because I want to see what the
question.
Okay, so I actually have it pulled up here. Let's yes, continue without disabling because I don't care. Here, let me. Can I? Yeah, here we go. Get that shit out the way. Let's take a look at the Rotten Tomatoes score. Rotten Tomatoes score is a 40%. This is on the critics side of things.
Yeah, people look at the wrong thing.
Yeah, the audience score is 89%. So here's the thing. So 205 reviews on the tomato meter. Now this is on the thermometer. We'll say it that way because that sounds better. But right here, look at this. That's 205 reviews. Here's 1,000 plus verified ratings with a much higher score. What should that tell you, Carter?
I'm sorry, Bill 93505 kind of ruined it for me. He said, "Will his flying be possibly expensive for the CGI team to do?" Could you imagine that's why that motherfucker wasn't flying around? Man, you too expensive, big dog. We ain't got Kevin. We ain't got
look, they did that dude like on She-Hulk. Be like, can you transform off camera?
You gotta have Aldous Hodge flex them wings out. All right, that was $3 million. You doing too much. Hey,
look.
Hey, I didn't want you to flex them wings out like that big time. That was like 4.5. You just wasted. Okay, see, now you got to have another 10 minutes. You getting your ass whooped. See, look what you did. See.
Well, we'll get to that here in just a moment. But yeah, I think honestly, people need to calm down about this movie. It is not as bad of a here. I want to see what Wonder Woman 84 is. Here, let's see.
All right. So while you do that, I'm going to go ahead and say this. People, stop going to other people to make your fucking opinion.
Yes.
Jesus Christ. If you are interested in that movie, go see that movie. If you think the movie theaters are too damn expensive, I ain't mad at you. I spent $50 when I went and saw this movie.
Ooh, 50.
So the movie ticket was $20, and then I got popcorn, I got margarita, I got a Black
you did that
Adam.
To yourself. You did that to yourself.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. But back to my point, stop going to other people for your opinion. If you think the movie is too expensive to go see in theaters because theaters are too expensive, wait for it to come out on HBO Max or your Fire Stick or wherever the hell, and then make your opinion yourself. Only you know what the fuck you like, whether it pertains to music, television, films, cars, women, whatever the fuck. Use your brain. Stop going to Caucasian colonizer number 6 just to see what he said about a movie. If he said that, I must definitely feel the same way. Stop it. Stop going to all these people. So many people hit me up on Twitter talking about, man, Jeremy Jahns gave this movie a really good review. I think I should go see it. Why the fuck should it matter? Because Jeremy Jahns said it.
Do you know how many times I've disagreed with Jeremy Jahns? Like, I like Jeremy Jahns. Jeremy Jahns double toasted the what was the one? What was the other dude's name? The one white dude who does movie reviews same time as Jeremy Jahns does. I forget the motherfucker's name because I don't watch him anymore. Yes, him. Yeah, that dude. Look, I get it. Like, these guys are big, and you want to believe everything they say. But that's one of my biggest pet peeves with people is because I had to break my wife of that habit one, where she would take someone else's opinion as the gospel, like just because they're an influencer, YouTuber, TikToker, Instagram, or whatever. And it's like, dude. I was like, because I remember there was some movie we were talking about one time, and she talked about how it was shit, and I was like, have you seen it? Because because we go to the movies together all the time. She is not the type of person to go to the movies by herself, and she don't really ever go to the movies with other people. So I was like, how the fuck did you see it? She was like, oh, I didn't see it. I just saw a review about it. And I was like, and that's it? And ever since that moment, she don't do that shit no more. But
that's always been my thing when people hit me up about that shit. It's like, okay, they may have liked the movie, but that don't mean you gonna like come on, y'all. Use y'all, like when I say y'all, I don't mean collectively everybody in the chat or watching or listening, but I'm saying just people in general are real deal becoming some hive mind sheep around this fucking place.
Oh yeah. And then be the main ones trying to say that everybody else is sheep. Shameful.
Like at the end of the day, you all are watching us because you know we're gonna make you laugh because of how we felt about the movie, especially when we get into these damn spoilers. But you all know that you can make an opinion on the movie for yourselves, because there are too many people. You and I both are right now talking about certain things we like, and there are people in the chat calling it fucking trash. Okay, that person used their own brain to make their own opinion on that movie. And real deal to whoever in the chat said you spent $50 on Black Adam. No, I spent $50 on alcohol so that I could continue to watch Black Adam and ignore everybody calling him a hero or a fucking villain. That's why I spent $50 on, okay? But I say all that to say, people, stop going to the other people for how you feel about something. Stop it.
Yeah, and I saw somebody else say too, like, you can take what they say into account. Like, you can take what they say and be like, okay, cool, but don't let it color your entire opinion of something without having, like sight unseen. Like, you haven't seen it, because I'm not gonna lie, like, as much as I love Double Toasted, and I was a Spillio back in the day, there have been, and this is not even exaggeration, I could say literally thousands of movies where I have disagreed with or not everyone, but I would say, if you went back to the Spill days, less so, but the Double Toasted days, I've literally been like, y'all crazy. Like, and once again, here's another thing I think people should take in consideration with movie critics of that magnitude. The guys like Martin and Corey from Double Toasted, Chris Stuckman, Nando, Jeremy Johns. Do you know how many movies they see in a given day? And how many movies they've had to review? Like, think about it. Think about it for a minute. I remember specifically at times, specifically remember, especially back in the Spill days, it's probably not this way as much now, but I remember Corey and Martin and them used to always talk about how they went to go see a movie and literally went to go see another one right after. And sometimes, in some days, they would have seen 3 movies at once. That can actually color your opinion of some shit. And
colored.
No, I'm just saying, it's because I've had it happen. I used to, like, back when I first, in my original YouTube endeavor where I used to review movies, I actually would go to see multiple movies in the same day. That shit can fuck up your opinion about something you've seen. Like, if you've seen 2 movies, especially if they were bad movies already, or even if they were good movies, by the time you get to that third one, you're going to be like, like, you're not going to be impressed. And honestly, yeah, if you review thousands of movies every year, yeah, nothing's going to impress you. Like, and I know some people think, well, I watch thousands of movies every year. It's not really the same thing. Because are you sitting there looking for shit to talk about? Like, you're not just sitting there, like, if you're just sitting there watching the movie just to be fucking watching it, that's different than actually trying to critique a movie. Like, watching a movie with the sole purpose of critiquing it. They are 2 completely different things.
All right. So, with all that being said,
spoiler time.
Can we talk about how trash Hawkman was in this movie?
I mean, I didn't hate Hawkman as much as you probably did.
It wasn't that I hated him. I hated the fact that the first time we're introduced to him,
he gets sunned.
What? Damn, did he get sunned by Amanda Waller and I forgot it?
Kinda. She basically kind of implied that. What's the nicest way to put this? So early on in the movie, and this isn't a secret because we literally see this motherfucker in the trailers. Viola Davis, fresh off of whooping some colonizer ass. In The Woman King, she came fresh back Look at her.
I hate how they're making her DC Nick Fury.
I mean, that's kind of what she is.
Okay,
honestly.
and you know what? That's what I was gonna ask you when we got here. I don't remember her having that much power in just the books I have read.
Okay, so so even a lot of people who are familiar with Amanda Waller, they're more familiar with her from like the cartoon, yes. But like in DC's New 52, they upped her significantly. And she was already a big deal before the New 52. Like Amanda Waller's been around for a long ass time. Gotcha. While she's not in as much in certain periods of DC Comics, she's all over the place. And she crops up. Amanda Waller crops up more often than a lot of people would likely remember. Because she's had a lot of iterations. She went from being like a little short, squat black woman to being a average-sized black woman who was kind of heavy-set to being a whole-ass, normal-sized, just full-on fat black woman to, what was it, New 52? They turned that woman into Halle Berry for some inexplicable reason, and and then they kind of reverted after a while to the kind of a mixture where she's closer to what she originally looked like, but not as short.
My thing was just, okay, we first see Hawkman, you got the fly suit on. I'm like, yeah, I would wear that. That's kind of drip. You got the nice little haircut rocking. Man, that mask don't work in live action.
It does not work. It does not work. Because I knew what you were talking about. You were talking about the jumpsuit he had on when he was on the ship.
No. When he's talking to Amanda Waller and he's telling her who's on his team.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. The jumpsuit. It was kind of like a suit / jumpsuit type deal.
Okay.
But that looked great. That actually looked really cool. I also heard someone say in the audience they were confused by him because they were like, "Is he supposed to be Batman?"
No, you didn't.
Yeah, they did. I actually because when they were at the mansion in Louisiana, they did they just make? But there was someone literally. It was some white folks next to me. They were like, "Did they just make Batman black?" I was like, "Okay, all right."
This is one of those moments where I wish, even though this is a horrible idea, I wish you could live stream certain things just because just have the wherewithal to be like, okay, these people on some bullshit. Let me take my phone out because I would have loved to have seen that, bro.
Dude, there was a lot of that happened. Like because when Adam Smasher showed, those folks like, oh, is he supposed to be Deadpool? All right, but no, here's the thing I would say.
Can you go sit in another seat away from me, big time? Can you go over to like the G section or something? As you know, the G section, G5.
Yeah. Meaning,
get your ass away from me with these weird ass takes so I can enjoy my movie. I would have cussed if somebody said fucking Deadpool.
Oh no, 100%. Though, okay, here's something else I will say. As far as the whole thing goes, getting back to Hawkman, I don't think I hated him as much as you did, but it just, my thing is, the mask, the helmet, didn't really work in live action. Like, and honestly, he looked better most of the time just without it. Which is just crazy.
100% agree with you. This is one of those few times where y'all didn't really have to be comic accurate because that looks way better than that fucking mask he has on. And I will say this, that looks fucking terrible.
That was
awful that you put it up again. But I'm really excited to see all this Hodge in this role. We done made Carter Hall black. And I told this to somebody else. I said, okay, I don't know why they made Carter Hall black, but whatever. Because
he's supposed to be Egyptian. Which technically Egyptians, you get into some real argumentative territory here. But
I remember somebody saying it in the chat. But
Egypt has been colonized so many times. The people of Egypt aren't even really black anymore. They actually look more like old girl in Moon Knight.
Okay.
So yeah.
Moving on with that. But I was really excited to see what he was gonna do. He's the leader of the team. And for every person that Black Adam brutally murdered, Hawkman got whooped.
Yes.
Hawkman got whooped. But every 30 motherfuckers we done seen Black Adam just brutally slaughter, Hawkman and got ragdolled around here, bro.
Well, and, you know, the sad part about it too is that they actually give him a lot. Like, here's what's funny about that. He actually beats the shit out of Black Adam back, but the thing is, the camera never really depicts it. Like, there's instances where he knocks the shit out of Black Adam. Black Adam's like, oh, goddamn. But the thing is, the way that they angle the camera, it's hard to tell that it's even happening. Like, but when that motherfucker gets caught, it is in crystal clear HD 4K.
I don't know why, but I kept thinking about this shit being like a Mad TV skit where he always has the most uplifting and positive stuff to say, and then immediately gets fucked up.
Oh, yeah.
And then he'll get right back up and he'll say something that just get everybody riled up and everybody behind him, and we ready to go to battle, and then he gets fucked up.
Yeah.
And then he gets right back up. I stand for truth, just fucked up.
Every time.
In 2 hours.
Dude.
It
was sad.
Margaritas in. I thought some of them ass whoopings was just because I'm hazed and buzzed. No. He just got whooped again.
He just got his ass beat. And I will say, now that I've said all that, I will say, I don't think that I don't think Aldous Hodge was bad as Hawkman. It's just how he was, how he was basically played out as far as the story. Right. Because one thing I will say, for as much shit as we could talk about Aldous Hodge getting his ass beat the entire movie, one of the coolest things I thought was the relationship between him and Dr. Fate, like the camaraderie. Because that was, I was like, dude, look at those. Like,
those, they were boys.
Yeah, you could tell. Like, it was like, dude, no. You and me, we like this.
I can't wait for people to come out and say that this movie was racist. Because Dr. Fate was doing some work while Hawkman was getting his ass whooped.
Oh, no. Make no mistake. Make no mistake.
I couldn't tell you one time in this movie where Dr. Fate just looked bad.
Look,
Dr. Fate was doing some work.
Look, Dr. Fate had about 20 of them motherfuckers holding Black Adam. That made it multiply to some 20-some times.
His own against Sabat.
Yeah. Like, legit. And here's the funny thing about it, like, yeah, Dr. Fate was, and that's kind of why I say Dr. Fate was kind of high-key the MVP of the whole movie.
Which pissed me off even more when they killed him.
Yeah, I didn't like that. Okay, so
that made me so mad.
Dude, you know what I thought was about to happen, too? You know what I thought was actually about to happen? When they did the whole thing with his death, and I'm so glad this didn't happen.
Did you think Atom Smasher was gonna get it?
No. That little boy, I forgot what his name was.
I'd have walked out the movie.
I was like, please don't tell me this. And I knew it wasn't. Like, I knew it wasn't from the jump. But, like, in that moment, I forgot that kid's name was Amon. And I was like, please don't tell me the little boy gonna pick up the helmet. He picked up this helmet.
I was already out of kettle corn. I was already out of bunch of crunch, and I had sipped all the margaritas out them cups. Yeah. I'd have walked out that motherfucking movie.
Yeah.
You'd have got a phone call right here.
Look, I'd have still heard the movie in the background. like I would hear the movie faintly in the background as the door closing behind him. But no, here's the thing I liked about it. And I'm going to tell you another reason I liked Dr. Fate is because where Aldous Hodge's Hawkman was always trying to moralize to him and talk down to him, Dr. Fate was always trying to, like, appeal to Black Adam's sensibilities. Like, he'd be like, hey, look, I know you ain't no hero, but man, look, can we just do this? Like, he wasn't trying to force the issue. He was like, look, can we just, like, at first he kind of was, but once he realized what was really happening, he was like, look, man, can we look, we need you, pimp. Look, do your
Man,
thing.
that shit was, look, bruh. I have seen the future. Savage Hawkman got like 3 more ass women in him before he finally catches it.
Right.
That's my dog. I don't want him to go. Black Adam wasn't going for it. So to save his boy, because they keep showing flashes of this shit through the whole movie. Every time Dr. Fate has a fucking vision. To stop his boy from getting a permadeath, he done sacrificed himself because even Dr. Fate was tired of Hawkman getting his ass whooped this movie.
Look, I ain't gonna lie. When I saw this shot right here in the trailer, I already knew Hawkman was gonna catch it.
I promise.
I was like, wait, this dude about to eat the ultimate L.
Dog. He had L's. That motherfucker was getting L's the entire movie. He got them in your standard script. He got them motherfuckers in cursive. He got them motherfuckers in Times New Roman. He got them in stands. He got them italic. He got them in bold. Hawkman got his ass. Dude. Why did a great actor like Aldous Hodge get wasted?
Bro.
Get fucked up.
Dude, he got fed to Black Adam. He got fed to Black Adam. Let's just go ahead and keep it real.
This is a Black Adam who don't even know how to operate a damn doorknob. He just walking through walls.
Yeah, walking through walls.
You got sunned, bro. You are no longer a hawk, my guy. In this movie, Aldous Hodge, I don't know why they did it to you. I don't know who is over there at DC with the keys to the kingdom, but you ain't a hawk no more, dog. They turned you into Pidgey. You ain't even a Pidgeotto, my dude. You a regular ass Pidgey, dog.
Oh no! You know what he is? He just a Spiro. he the store brand Pidgey. Remember how Pokemon, they had one Pokemon and then they had that other one that was just like it, but you could tell that was a store brand? Yeah, nah, pimp. I will say this though. Here's one thing I will say, as cameos and shit aside, because once again, we already brought Viola Davis. Was it Jennifer Holland came back for a little cameo as Harcourt? I thought that was cool, because Task Force,
and that made me wonder when I saw her and how like kind of whimsical and she was. It made me, when does this take place? Is this before or after Peacemaker?
I think it's after, because in Peacemaker, there's a newspaper showing that Intergang has basically invaded Kahndaq.
Gotcha.
So this has to take place after the fact. But yeah, Harcourt, she was actually being more how she was towards the end of Peacemaker. So if it throws you off, you're like, oh, okay, cool. That's what's happening here. This is what's hot in the streets. Apparently. But I guess let's go ahead and talk about the one that everyone has been talking about, because this actually, okay, so the thing about this is the post-credit, or rather, this is more of a mid-credit scene. Not a post-credit, it's a mid-credit. This leaked like a week or 2 weeks ago, before the movie was even out. But the, Superman, Henry Cavill, he back. And apparently The Rock was instrumental in getting him back, supposedly.
Shit, he keeps talking about how instrumental he was in all these goddamn interviews.
Yeah, man, pretty much. But yeah, so Superman, he makes a return, because the whole thing is like, now that Black Adam has saved the world, he's out here, he's supposed to be the ruler, or not the ruler, but he now says that he's the protector of Kahndaq. Which, I'm not gonna lie, the shot that they did, where he sat on the throne and he kind of did the Black Adam pose, whatever, sitting on the throne, I thought that was cool. Then he broke the throne. It was like, okay, cool. He's like, no, I'll be a protector. I gotta be a hero. But now Amanda Waller's like, hey, look, you busted up out my shit. We had you arrested in on a black site prison for Task Force X. We was about to put you in a whole Suicide Squad movie. But hey, that's okay. We gonna go ahead and let that slide. But you got to stay in Kahndaq. You can't leave. She was like, "Your outside conduct privileges have been revoked." And
just once, dude. I just want somebody to just grab Amanda, dog. Just one time.
I think he would have if he was there. I
just want her to get snatched one time just so she can realize, like, you're talking to some bad boys, sister. Like, I'm gonna need you. I just need her to get the bass taken out her voice one time. That's all I ask.
Well, no, what was it? Amanda Waller's like the junkyard dog. Because did you ever read the old Ostrander Suicide Squad? Did you ever read that?
I have no comments on this right now because you're gonna get canceled because you just called a black woman, albeit a fake one, a whole dog. I'm not in this.
Anyway, that's not what I'm talking about. Anyway, point of the matter is, did you ever read the old John Ostrander Suicide Squad?
No, I read Secret Six.
Okay, so in the old Ostrander John, this is what a lot of people remember about Amanda Waller. when she backed up Batman.
You gonna pay this child support.
Look, she got her finger on Batman whole solar plexus.
I want my alimony. That's what that says to me.
Yeah, that is exactly what that says. But no, what I did appreciate about it was that when Superman does actually pull up on Black Adam, because Amanda Waller was like, I know people I can call in favors. I got somebody who can handle you. And then Superman show up and they kind of play a little clip of the Superman theme, just a little.
Did you see the S curl?
I did. I saw it. He had the S curl. He actually had the S curl. I thought that was pretty slick. Well, here's the thing that was so interesting to me about it was that it didn't even seem like Superman wanted to even fight. Like, and as normal for Superman, he didn't even want to fight him. He was actually more like, I think we should talk. Which kind of led you, which would, honestly, to me, some people might have read that scene as Superman trying to, well, I mean, he was trying to de-escalate a situation, most likely, but I kind of read that as, oh, we gonna talk, like we gonna actually have a conversation, not throw hands. Which, Carter, did you ever watch the League of Super Pets movie?
I did not. I saw the after credit scene.
Okay,
I remember you telling me about that.
Yeah, this it was actually very, in some ways it was kind of reminiscent of that scene a little bit. We saw in League of Super Pets, we saw the conversation the dogs was having. We didn't see the conversation that The Rock was having with Superman. We saw the conversation The Rock was having with his dog, because it was the same, because Rock did the voice of Anubis, the pet, which I thought was even more weird, because it's like, oh shit, so what are they gonna do when these two motherfuckers are right next to each other? But because he was basically using the same voice that he used for Black Adam, which is the crazy part. But yeah, basically they have a little sit down conversation. Black Adam gives a little smirk at the end, whatever, and they kind of leave it at that. Now, will the next thing be Superman versus Black Adam, or this, that, and the third, whatever? Who knows? Who really knows? But I thought it was cool. But I will say this, Carter, what was really uplifting to see?
What's that?
I know I am, for the most part, pretty dialed into like superhero movie news. So I knew that Superman was in the post-credit scene like weeks before I even saw it, and I actually saw the post-credit scene 2 weeks before I actually saw the movie.
Yeah.
I forgot there are people who didn't know. And I gotta admit, the crowd reaction to Superman, seeing Henry Cavill as Superman at the end of this, in the mid-credit scene, the entire theater erupted. Which, granted, didn't see a whole heap of a lot of the exact same energy throughout the actual movie itself. I mean, people did like cheer and get hyped when stuff was happening, but that was the most hype anyone had been. Like, there was a dude sitting one of the folks that was sitting right next to me, matter of fact, the same one that was complaining about, oh, they make Batman black? That dude came about his chair and was falling over other people's chairs, freaking out about Henry Cavill being back as Superman. Which, I mean, to be fair, I think it's cool. I like Henry Cavill. I don't hate him. I don't think he's a bad actor. I think that DC don't know what to do with him when it comes to the movies. But I like
he had the red and blue. He had the red and blue on.
Yeah, he had the red and blue. He was actually it was red and blue with the yellow in the.
Yeah, that
wasn't Man of Steel. That wasn't Man of Steel.
It was not.
It wasn't Man of Steel, and it was not Snyder Cut. That was, and you know what? Honestly, for as much as people complained about the Joss Whedon Justice League, it's actually one of the things I like about it is Superman because he's actually more like Superman in that movie versus other movies. Like, he ain't trying to be grimdark. He's just that man is truth and justice Superman.
And I will say this because we're still in spoilers. The one I was actually wrong.
Okay.
When it pertained to Black Adam and how he got his powers.
Okay, yeah, that was. I'm glad you brought it up. I slick forgot about it. We actually both thought that it would be interesting if they went the way I think you're about to say, but they didn't. No.
So in this instance, the one thing that you all know that I kept bringing up was that they might go the Jeff Johns route. The Jeff Johns route. Teth Adam actually was not Shazam. It was his son, or it was some kind of like close relative to him, like a son or a nephew or something like that. And what happened was he actually killed the kid and took the power for himself. In this, his son became we're not going. Well, yeah, fuck it. Say Black Adam. Fuck it. His son,
and that was his nephew. It was his nephew.
Okay.
In the comics. Yeah.
In the comics, it was his nephew. In this film, it was his son that became Black Adam. But the son was going after the king, and in order to save the one family member he had left, because in order to get back at the son, they killed Teth Adam, killed his wife. But in order to save his father, he gave that power to him, and then immediately caught an arrow to the chest, which made me happy. I will say, that I was happy that Teth Adam's son died, because it gave me hope that they might kill Amon at the end of the movie. I was actually really happy when they showed Teth Adams' son catch that arrow, because I'm like, okay, if they're showing this, they might off this woman's child by the end of the movie. My fingers were crossed. But that is how Teth Adam got the powers in this, was because his son gave them to him in order to save him. And the reason he was locked away was because we find out he wasn't sleeping, he was imprisoned.
Yeah, he was in prison. Yeah,
imprisoned was because he wasn't supposed to have these powers, and the one time that he wasn't in full control of him, he wiped out Kahndaq. Because there's a statue that you see constantly in this film that Teth Adam is constantly going to, and you think that it's him, but it's actually his son. So when people are constantly beating you over the head with the fact that he's not a hero, it's because he knows he's not. It's his son that's the hero, but instead of doing that one time, they did it like good 15, 20 more. But I know that's dark, but you didn't see the movie if you saying that to me. You didn't see how fucking annoying that kid was in this movie. Otherwise, you would hold the same sentiment that I did. I don't care what you say.
That kid was terrible.
I will say that I was wrong in that regard, and maybe, I mean, it should have been common sense. I have to take some of my own medicine, because of course they weren't going to go that route when it came to Dwayne Johnson or Teth Adam just getting his powers like that, since this was going to be a PG-13 film.
They did a middle ground. They did a middle ground. They took the best middle ground. I will say, yeah, that little boy won the Rose Walker award for me. For those I'm talking about, Rose Walker was my least favorite character in Sandman. She was so annoying and so terrible, and bless that girl's heart, but yeah, she was. Yeah, if I never saw her again in anything, I'd be perfectly okay with it. At least as far as Sandman goes. Not saying like in Hollywood in general, just saying as far as Sandman goes. If they just somehow mysteriously decided, yeah, we ain't gonna do anything else with Rose Walker after this. Cool, bye, gone.
So let me ask you this.
Go ahead.
Because I don't think this is a spoiler, because I think this is, it was kind of funny. Because like one thing that they showed before the movie started was the trailer to the new Shazam film. How do you feel with the only Shazam anything we had in this movie was the fact that Teth Adams said Shazam to get his powers? How do you feel with there just being no Billy Batson, and it looks like they're trying their best to get away or to stay away from Billy Batson, the Shazam family, that whole thing?
Honestly, it kind of hurts my feelings because I'm gonna tell you what I was hoping for. One of the more, not the most recent relaunch of Shazam, but there was one that Jeff Johns I think did, like after the New 52 stuff. It was like I think like 10-12 issue series, something like that. Where they were trying to find their seventh. Like the seventh person for their group, because in the current iteration of the Shazam family, they're missing one person. They're missing one core aspect of everything. Or is it their sixth person? Anyway, I don't care. Point of the matter is, in that run, Black Adam joins that group reluctantly, but he does. Like, and him and Billy are kind of like not like buddies, but like they don't hate each other. And the thing that kind of bugged me was that, like, I was like, dude, I was kind of hoping Black Adam would tie more into Shazam as opposed to just Black Adam tying into everything else. Like, honestly, and I know a lot of people wouldn't have liked this as much, I actually kind of wish that the scene that we got for the mid-credit, instead of it being Superman, I wish it would have been Shazam. That actually would have made more sense.
I was surprised because I text you when the movie was ending, and I said, "Is there another scene, or is it just the Superman stuff?" And you said, "No, it's just Superman." I was surprised by that because I'm like, okay, maybe they'll give you the Superman stuff for the mid-credit scene and do something with Billy Batson for the after credit. Because you could tell Superman shit was coming from a mile away, because damn near every fight scene that Teth Adam was in, he was punching something or doing damage to something that was a Superman, that had something to do with Superman.
Well, he got so like the product placement. Now he did fuck up some Flash and Aquaman and Wonder Woman shit too, but most of it was Superman shit. Like, matter of fact, the first time he sees a Superman or a picture of Superman is on site, literally, because he eye lasered the fuck out of it. But no, I hate it because it's like Black Adam is tied to Shazam. And DC is going out of their way, and I don't know if this, and I do kind of feel like this has more to do with The Rock than it does Warner Brothers or DC, because I do remember them saying that he didn't want Black Adam to be a part. Now, granted, he said it, I want to make sure I'm clear when I say this, not that he didn't want Black Adam to be a part of Shazam, but he didn't want Black Adam to just be a villain in a Shazam movie.
Yeah.
Which I get. But at the same time, trying to divorce Black Adam of Shazam is a silly move, because I feel like, honestly, Shazam is one of the few legitimately good DC movies that stands on its own.
And my whole thing was, I know The Rock kept talking about how he was a Black Adam fan and he was a DC Comics guy and like that. Then you should know that those two are kind of, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, all honestly, we got in this film was the Wizard, and you have to say Shazam to become Black Adam, but that's it. But
that had to be the easiest check Jamon Hansu ever got.
Had to be.
Because that dude only showed up twice, and I'm pretty sure they reused that scene. The same scene we see of him, I'm almost positive, I couldn't tell right away, but I'm almost positive if I watched it again, I would recognize that it was the same scene we saw earlier, but they just dubbed him saying something different. Because his mouth was moving almost the exact same way. But yeah, it's either here or there. But no, I didn't like that aspect of it. I think that Shazam probably would have gotten more recognition if they would have used Black Adam as a villain as opposed to Dr. Sylvanas. And now with everything that's come out about Fury of the Gods, I think the director even came out and said that there's a reason why they're not using Mr. Mind as the villain as they were originally going to do because of like budgetary reasons and some other stuff apparently going on in the background. But it's like, dude, as much as I would like to see Black Adam throw hands with Superman, I'm actually more interested in seeing Black Adam throw hands with Billy Batson. I think that's a more interesting dynamic, if that's just me. And granted, I know that this version of Black Adam is not a traditional bad guy anymore, but I honestly feel like I feel personally like this Shazam sequel would be even more interesting to me if Black Adam were in it in some capacity. But we know that's not going to happen, or so far it's not going to happen. But yeah.
Let me ask you what you feel about this comment, because Derek, I do not want to butcher your last name, Derek, but he's saying, why are you all forgetting that Black Adam was the champion before Shazam? So Shazam should not have been introduced at this time. So not to be a comic dork and not to kind of poke and prod, but the Black Adam in the movie was not the champion. His son was.
His son was. Well, here's the thing, and I think, and maybe you just need to go back and watch it from the very beginning, because I clearly said at the very beginning of the review that Black Adam was a champion prior to Billy Batson becoming the champion. I literally said it at the beginning. So no, we didn't forget. You just weren't listening, or you just showed up late. I don't know. But the real meat of the matter here is that no, it doesn't matter who got their movie first, because we can walk and chew bubblegum at the same time. We know what year Shazam takes place in. We know when Black Adam takes place. It doesn't really matter in that regard. What I'm saying is that Black Adam and Shazam are intrinsically tied to one another. That's what I'm saying, because they have the exact same power. That's what I'm talking about. But see, I'm gonna start. You know what? When folks annoy me, I'm gonna start calling them a Mons. You a Mons in the chat. Y'all need to chill out.
He showed up late. But Herbert Scott said The Rock was not kidding when he said the hierarchy would change. He skipped Shazam and went straight to Superman.
He did. He really did. That man said, look, you know what it was? you know what it kind of remind me of? Remember Thor Love and Thunder, every time Thor would be looking at Mjolnir, his axe would show up? That's how DC doing Shazam. Like Shazam keep coming up and looking at the Rock, and the Rock looking at Superman.
But okay,
but yeah, that is what it is.
Now that we have said everything, how do you feel about the movie? Was it good? Was it bad? What does Blerd Without Fear think about as a whole Black Adam?
I liked it. I mean, is it the best? It's not the best DC EU film ever. No, God, no. It is far from it. I still think that the first Shazam is an infinitely better film, and more fun. Not to say Black Adam isn't fun, but there's a lot less things that annoy me in the Shazam movie. For the most part, I feel like most of the actors in there understood the assignment, with the exception of like maybe 2 or 3. Chiefly, Sarah Shahi, who played Adriana Tamaz, aka Isis, and the other motherfucker, the little boy, whose name I refuse to remember right now. I feel like they didn't really get the assignment 100%. I feel like, with the exception of how many times Hawkman got sunned, I feel like the Justice Society had a decent enough showing in this movie. Inner Gang were some whole chumps, as they should be. And no one has changed my mind about Sabak. So there you go. Okay. But yeah, I liked it. I think it's like, if I had to give it, I tell you what. if I had to give it a rating, I'd give it like 3.5 out of 5 stars.
I'm not going to do that, but I will say I put this in the same category as the original non-James Gunn Suicide Squad film. And when I say what I mean by that is I think Black Adam is a dumb, fun action movie.
Yeah.
And there is nothing wrong with that, because that's why I like that Jared Leto Suicide Squad movie. That's why I like this movie. It's a dumb, fun action movie. You don't have to go for awards. You don't have to go for anything like that. You just go to it. Would I have liked to have seen this on HBO Max? Absolutely. Mm-hmm. But honestly, I will say it's not something that I think you have to see in theaters. We have to see it in theaters because I got to come up here and talk about it the first week come out. But is this something you all just got to pay to go with your partner, or now your kid? You might have to go take your kids to go see it because it's The Rock. But again, it's a dumb, fun action movie. Had it come out on HBO Max, like maybe a couple weeks later, I would have been all over it. But yeah, it was fun. It was fun. It was all right.
Well, and yeah, I
you know what? Yeah, it was entertaining. Boom.
Yes, yeah, and that's what I'm saying. It's a situation where, because I feel the same way about the David Ayer Suicide Squad movie. I don't think it's a great movie. I don't think it's a good movie. I don't think it's a bad movie. I don't think it's a terrible movie. I think it's just a dumb, fun movie. And that sometimes, I think dumb, fun movies exist for a reason, because not everything has to be some avant-garde, spectacle.
How many times have I been on here and I said one of my favorite movies of all time in my top 5? There are 2 of them. One of them is Demolition Man, and the other one is fucking Face Off. Like,
yeah, both of which are dumb, fun movies. Like and I know some people will probably be offended when we say this, but it's like I told somebody on TikTok, because someone tried to say that because I cited the things I didn't like about the movie, and they were like, "Oh, well, you just described a bad movie," and I was like, "No," I was like, I can take even my most favorite movies of all time, and I can find shit about them that I don't like. And in a lot of cases, several. I can find several things about them that I don't like. Even, and just to show how serious I am, I will even take my favorite horror movie of all time, John Carpenter's The Thing. I can find 5 or 6 things I don't like about that movie.
Adam Oxen, I vehemently disagree with what you're saying those effects need to be seen on the big screen. If you have a really good ass TV, you can watch them at the house.
I was about to say, nowadays, like, I actually hate that argument that you have to see certain things on the big screen, because I'll put, like, and this isn't a flex, but I have a 65-inch 4K TV in my living room. I don't have to go to the movie theater. I really don't. I have I don't even have surround sound. I have like a sound bar with a subwoofer hooked up to it, and my shit rattles the fucking house. I don't have to go to a movie theater to see some shit that could just as easily been put on a streaming service at home. Because heck, when actually, I will actually say, truth be told, your TV, because at this point, just about everybody has a 4K TV, or some kind of way to watch something in 4K. Honestly, that shit's, in my opinion, a lot more detailed than shit you see at the movie theater half the time. Unless the movie is shot a very, specific way. Like what they did when they did the Hobbit films. They shot them in, a faster frame rate than what people were used to, so it threw people off when they saw it on a movie screen. But yeah, you don't need that shit. But yeah, it didn't hate it, didn't love it either. I would watch it again though. I would definitely watch it again. I've watched the first Suicide Squad multiple times. It was silly. It was fun. It's something I can literally put on and watch. I don't have to pay full attention to it, but I'm still entertained. And that's kind of what will probably happen. Like, if Black Adam comes to HBO Max at some point, which it will, It'll probably be a movie that I'd put on in the background, and I'll probably be like, farting around or reading comics while I'm watching it, or probably playing on my phone, or maybe even playing a video game while I'm watching it.
Every time you come back to the movie, Hawkman will be getting his ass kicked.
Probably. You're probably right. But there you go. But yeah, I guess the bigger question, because Rock said this was supposed to be like, in a roundabout way, rebooting the DCEU. Do you feel like it did that in any way, shape, form, or fashion?
Nope.
There you go. I don't, and I think we kind of already gave the game away on that one, because I literally just said it takes place right after Peacemaker. So no, it didn't do that, not at all. Let's go ahead and move on to the next thing.
What it did? I'll say this.
Go ahead.
It did make this Dwayne Johnson's biggest selling box office film, which is why he kept saying that shit.
Yeah. No, honestly, I feel like
the hell out of that movie to where it's his biggest big budget movie.
Yes, that is true.
But no, like as it stands with the whole no.
Amazing, no, big time. Okay, so I guess let's move on to the next thing. This will be the last thing. We can actually do this real quick, and then we'll get into our normal shenanigans. Carter, I don't know if you heard about this. Maybe you did. But so recently, word hit the street, and I'm not saying that it is happening. I'm not saying that it isn't happening. I just think that it's funny. So, you know how like about a couple months ago we learned there was gonna be a Wonder Man TV show on Disney Plus?
Yeah.
Word guys like, oh yeah, man. Simon Williams. They deep cutting it. They bringing them West Coasty Avengers in here. Well, we got a little bit of a rumor going around of who might be playing Wonder Man. Or in this case, he gonna be Wonder Man.
Oh my God! I just read that. And
no, it ain't who you think. It ain't who you think. But no, it's so the word on the street, and I'm only talking about this because a lot of other confirmations have happened. We got confirmation on Harrison Ford, which Carter didn't believe. Carter didn't want to believe.
I don't give a fuck about that. I want to know who this Wonder Man is. I don't give a fuck about that.
So, Carter, have you ever you've watched Candyman, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so then you're familiar with his face. Yahya Abdul-Mateen II is rumored.
That was the ugliest, nastiest bait and switch you have ever done. Because had your black ass put Terrence Howard on that screen, I would have left.
No, that's not Terrence Howard. No, but no, I say that because a lot of folks were confused. Now, once again, a lot of the times when stuff gets rumored, a lot of times there is some truth to it. This has not been confirmed, by the way. Like, it has not been confirmed that Black Manta is coming to the MCU. That has not been confirmed. Black Manta is not coming to the MCU. Not yet. We do know Harrison Ford is legit. Sacha Baron Cohen as Mephisto is very likely true, based on some other insiders that have confirmed reports that he's going to be playing Mephisto in Ironheart. I don't know if it's true. I'm just saying, if it is, I won't be surprised, because it's actually getting kind of the same way that the Harrison Ford stuff was kind of slick being confirmed and people still not believing it by like other sources. And then it turns out, yeah, it was actually true. I'm kind of thinking this is going to be one of those things, like the Sacha Baron Cohen thing, I think is going to be kind of the same. I think this, less likely, but if it is, it wouldn't surprise me, because honestly, the only thing that really... Wonder Man is such a throwaway character, I dare motherfuckers to pretend like they actually knew who he was before now. Because Wonder Man is such a throwaway character. Like, that dude does not get put in comics very often. Like, you know what he's most... Okay, you know what thing Wonder Man is most famous for, Carter?
What's that?
Being the brainwaves that Vision's mind is based off of. That's what Wonder Man is most famous for. He is famous for his brainwaves being the basis for Vision. That's it. That's it. Like that, and he's an actor. He's an actor in the Marvel Comics universe. Like he does Hollywood movies and stuff like that. That was why they had the whole thing with Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 that never actually panned out, where Nathan Fillion was going to play Wonder Man in like a little side thing that was going to be in the background that never came to fruition. I think it ended up being a deleted scene more than anything else. But yeah, if it is the case, it wouldn't bother me because he's a good actor, and honestly, he would probably bring more seasoning to that role than it could ever hope to get. But in a roundabout way, I kind of actually want Wonder Man to be, I guess white like he is in the comics. Not because I don't want them to, quotey fingers, tokenize him, but more because I feel like that's half the charm of Wonder Man, is that he's a cis white dude who is kind of out of touch a little bit. and kind of I won't say a square bear, but not necessarily not a square bear either. Though he can let off. We've seen Wonder Man get raw a few times, but over the years. But I almost feel like what would happen is if this panned out and they got this brother to come in and play Wonder Man, you know what would happen? If this was into any way, shape, form, or fashion take off and become popular, we would start seeing Wonder Man comics all over the place, and I don't know if I am mentally prepared for that, because I've always thought Wonder Man was some straight up cold fucking slaw. But anyway, I guess let's go back. Let me go back a ways because we got so deep off into the spoilers and shit that I lost track of everything else. Carter, did you have any thoughts on this before we moved on?
No.
Wait, Carter, you sure you ain't got any thoughts on Wonder Man?
No, I'm good.
Look, I actually saw someone on Twitter say it. They were like, "Oh, so this when Wanda meet Wonder Man, she gonna forget about Vishon." Maybe that's why Cataract's so mad in WandaVision. But anyway, let's move along. We got some super chats here I want to go back through. These are actually kind of digging back into the Black Adam discussion, so just kind of hang with us here for a sec while we do that. We got one from the homie Ping Rose with the $4.99. Says, why has it got to be Black Adam? Why can't it be all Adam? They wouldn't like it if we made a white Adam. I know what he's saying. No, he's joking. He's being facetious. That's how I can tell Carter tired, because he was like, what? No, Ping he's fucking with you. He's fucking with us. But no, because that's the thing that people say all the time, like, oh, what if we made White Panther? Because that's the same shit that you're gonna probably start seeing over the next couple of weeks, since Black Panther comes out literally just 2 weeks from now. And it was the same shit people were saying back when Black Panther was coming out back in 2018. Like, oh, what if we made Black Panther white? How would y'all feel then? But also Pig said with another $4.99 says Hawkman forgot the flying types are weak to electric and fire. Look, why is it now I'm hearing the death rattle from the old Game Boy when they hit the ground? Hawkman fainted. Wait, Black Adam. Wait, Black Adam used lightning bolt. Super effective.
Warren Register does bring up a good point that the dude in the Priest run is White Adam. That run is so trash to me. I gave it several issues. I think you like it.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah, you're enjoying it, but I don't know what I just can't vibe with that run like at all, dude.
Christopher
Yuri, I was very close to turning my fucking camera off. You are absolutely right, bro. All Adams matter, bro.
He was fucking with you. But no, it is what it is. It's one of those things. I like the Priest run. I think it's actually pretty good. Especially once you kind of see the wider narrative of what's going on. But it's one of those, I will put it in the same category, not saying in quality, but just in terms of like the way you should read it. I feel like it's a story that, much like the Intergalactic Empire of Wakanda stuff that Ta-Nehisi Coates did with Black Panther, I feel like it works better if you read it in one sitting. But that's just me. Abraham Robinson with the $10 super chat says, could you explain the difference between DC's Micron and Atom Smasher? Because I thought that Atom Smasher was supposed to be Micron in Black Adam this whole time. Okay, so the whole thing with Atom Smasher is that he grows big. Also, speaking of, this is something I thought was interesting, and someone may correct me if I'm wrong. So, there's a part in Black Adam where Henry Winkler shows up. And it's kind of supposed to be a riff on how the Justice Society is a house of legacy heroes, where like one hero has the mantle and then it passes on to the next, whether it's a relative or a friend or a confidant, whoever. Kind of like how you have with Johnny Thunder, and then later on you have Jakeem Thunder because Jakeem gets the pin. You also have what's his face? Mr. Terrific. How the original Mr. Terrific was a white dude, and then later on, somebody else came along, also named Mr. Terrific, with a completely different set of skills, and you just kind of go on from there. It was kind of supposed to be like a riff on that, but as far as I remember, I don't remember there being an Atom Smasher before Albert Rothstein. Like, they kind of younged him up for this, which I guess is to kind of escape some problematic elements. Because if I'm not mistaken, I think Atom Smasher smashed Stargirl. And he a good and grown-ass man, and she a whole teenager, but that's a whole other story altogether. But yeah, as far as, like, Micron goes, he has a similar suit, and as I am aware, I don't think he's actually in the DC, like, I don't think he's a DC Comics character. I think he's only in the animated stuff. And that might have been their way of having Atom Smasher without having Atom Smasher. But as far as I'm aware, the one don't got shit to do with the other than they have the same powers. One exists in one medium, other exists in the other. But Atom Smasher has been around for a long time. Shit. Let me see. I actually want to look this up. Atom Smasher, when was his first appearance? All-Star Squadron number 25, September of 1983. So I'm a little over a year older than Atom Smasher. Crazy. I'll take it. We got another here from LJ Brown with the £5. Says the villain basically poor man's Trigon, and if you watch the earlier trailers, that he talks that he knows Hawkman and Dr. Fate. Oh, okay, so there's a part. Yeah, there's some parts in the trailer where, like, you do see Sabak early on. And a lot of people did think that was Trigon the first time that people saw him. Everybody was saying that was Trigon, but it's not. It's a whole other character. The big-ass pentagram on his chest should have been the dead giveaway, and the lack of several eyes. But yeah, I don't honestly, they would have been better off if they would have. I think they would have used Trigon. That might have gone over better than Sabak, I think. But they would have just made him one note too. So
the only Trigon I respect is Vash the Stampede.
There you go, man. Big guns and crazy bullets. Jess Smith says, so is Black Adam still a Shazam villain with a $5 super chat? No, he's not. Black Adam is a member of the Justice League. Black Adam is, and as a matter of fact, and he is all. Black Adam is also a harsh critic of the current roster of the Justice League.
I have never seen somebody just adamantly scream, "Y'all are trash," like he did in this most recent issue.
Dude, Black Adam said no.
We damn near got a full page spread of just him screaming, "You're trash," to these poor kids, bro.
And I mean, he wasn't wrong. That's the sad. I think that's actually the scarier part, is that he wasn't wrong. Like,
here's my thing.
Yeah, go ahead.
And this is all I'll say, so we can move on and recommend and stuff. If this whole crisis gets fixed by the Teen Titans, how many of you all are going to be mad that they're basically trying to say that, because I've seen several people say this already. So the Justice League couldn't do it, but the Teen Titans can?
I mean, now I will say this. Nightwing is supposed to factor very heavily into the future of the DC Comics universe, which is unusual considering that he usually isn't a major factor in the DC Comics universe, by and large. So they are kind of... It sounds like DC might be trying to change its tune on legacy heroes, is basically what I'm thinking. Which is fine, because they typically treat them like trash. We also got another one here. Gokon Sure His Baby's Father with a $5 super chat says, Blerd, what do you think Hawk Girl expression was when she see Hawkman getting his butt kicked on World Star? Man, bruh, first off, you are...
That's why they only put you on one episode of my cartoon. That's what she called.
Yeah. Or you know, that's why she getting piped out by Martian Manhunter. That's why she getting piped out by Martian Manhunter.
She caught the Jeff Jarrett from a Green Lantern and a whole green alien.
Mm-hmm.
Carter Hall, you slaw. And I said it before we even started this show. I knew in my heart of hearts that you were gonna give me hell because his name is Carter. How bad he got whooped in this movie.
I'm not that petty.
I knew.
I'm not that petty. I mean, okay. I'm as petty as Ern would be towards that white lady in that one episode of Atlanta, but I wouldn't do you like that. I would do that to a stranger. But not to Carter. Not to you. You the real Hawk, man. I'm joking. Anyway, we got Xylism with the 1999 super chat. Says people complaining about MCU and wanting the manly, cool guys to come back and take over the movie. I'm gonna laugh when all of them said Wonder Man is in that category. Watch him do soap operas. That's the thing. So, as I understand it, the Wonder Man Disney Plus series, which could very easily become a special, I understand it's supposed to be a commentary on Hollywood. It ain't supposed to be about... It's kind of like how, like, I remember I was always seeing, and I saw this last week when we talked about it too, and I've seen it on social media, when people complained about how She-Hulk didn't have an arc, that she didn't have a conflict in her own show, and I think a lot of people missed the fact that it wasn't supposed to be a typical MCU thing, that it was... The arc was She-Hulk accepting herself as who she was and not trying to be something that she's not. That was what the entire show was supposed to be about. You can't punch that. You can't double axle hammer that shit, come off the top rope, drop the elbow on accepting yourself. I mean, you can, but I think it would hurt. So, and I think that's going to be kind of the thing with Wonder Man. It's not going to be he's got to save the world. Yeah, he'll probably do some world saving or saving the city, whatever. But I think what will happen more often than not is that it'll be a commentary on, like, what life is like for an actor. Don't be surprised if you see a lot of commentary on how actors handle being hated on social media by shitty fans, or being complained about for shit they have nothing to do with or have any control over. Don't be surprised if it is a commentary on the state of the world as it is regarding how people perceive celebrities. Don't be shocked. It's not going to be some, oh man, Wonder Man, the Avengers are beat up, or they're all like doing other shit, they're all separated, and the only person who can save New York is Wonder Man. That is not going to be the case. I'm going to go tell you right now, if that's what you think this is going to be, and I'm not talking to the person that wrote the question, I'm talking about just the general people, because they clearly understand where I'm coming from. Xylism clearly understands. But the thing is, I feel like a lot of people are going to go into that show expecting to be something it is not ever intended to be, and they're going to try and clown it and hate on it and say it's terrible and that it's trash because they didn't get it. And I see a lot of people do that shit. Because they say it's trash because they don't understand it. And it's like, and I say it's better to, and I know sometimes saying something is trash is easier than saying that it's not for you. But the truth of the matter is 99.9% of the time when people say something's trash, a lot of times that's just code for I didn't get it or it wasn't for me. Because it's not usually, kind of like what we said about Black Adam. There's a lot of people saying it's trash. Just say it ain't for you. Be done with it. Oh, all right. Let's move on to our recommended for the week. Carter, what you got?
Batman One Bad Day, #1, Penguin.
Go ahead. Go off, King.
I have talked several times about one of my favorite Bat villain stories.
Yes, sir.
Being this right here. Batman, you can't see it because of the fucking glare, pain, and prejudice.
Angle it a little bit towards the light. There you go. There you go. That's how you do it. That's a trick I learned.
This was a story that was done by Greg Hurwitz. It was a 5-issue miniseries all about that old Oswald Cobblepot. I really love this story. That's why I own it. And now we have a one-shot for the Penguin. They've been doing a lot of these.
Yeah, One Bad Day.
Yeah, they've been doing a lot of these One Bad Days for different villains. I think this is number 3 or 4 right now.
It's the third one, I think, because they did one for, first one was for Riddler, second one was for Two-Face.
Okay, cool. But this one is really cool just because it's basically a story about a comeback. Not to delve too much into it, but it's the Penguin on the comeback trail to run Gotham. There was a lot to like in this story, man. It was well, you know how they have you have an idea and a dream, and Oswald Cobblepot has 1 henchman and 2 bullets, and will try his best to turn that into running Gotham. This was probably my favorite book this week, period. Ooh. This one shot was really fucking good. I cannot recommend it enough.
Even over public domain? Ooh.
Yeah, and I just read that this morning. And because you know what, this book did for me what I thought the Two-Face issue would do, because I'm a really, really big fan of Two-Face. But now I have another Penguin story to add to the list, that something I need to pick up, because this one shot was really, really fucking good. I cannot recommend it enough. But yeah, Batman One Bad Day, Penguin #1. That's my pick. What's yours, Ernie?
Right here. Welcome to the New Wakandan Holy Rosary Third Rock on the Road to Jabari Baptist Church edition of the Bible. This right here is the ultimate Black Panther story. Fuck what you heard. Yeah, Christopher Priest run was lit. That's cool. Reggie Hudlin run was lit too. I liked it a lot. But guess what? This right here. This right here. This. Look how thick this is. This is everything. This is everything. Look how fucking thick this goddamn. Look at that. Look at that. Look how thick that is. Boy, you can sit a drink on it.
I'm really surprised they put all of it in one book. I'm really surprised.
Because they usually don't. They usually don't. This has, let's see here. This has Black Panther number 1 through 18. And then they did that was when like Marvel Legacy was going on. So they went back to legacy numbering. So then it jumps to Black Panther number 166 through 172. And then it goes to, and this is when, it did it. Did it do it? Did it do it? It's doing some bullshit. Of course it is. Anyway, we're just gonna carry on as if everything is fine. But no, the whole thing I know a lot of people have issue with Black Panther, is they're always like, oh man, he's always like fighting against his own people, or he's always got people trying to take his throne from. I mean, that's kind of what happens when you're a main character who's a monarch. It just kind of is what it is. You just kind of have to get over it.
You talking about the Venture Brothers?
No. But basically, long story short is it's a great run about T'Challa discovering that his people are unhappy. There are insurrectionists who are trying to take Wakanda away from him. Not only that, over the course of this series, we see the reunification of Black Panther with Storm, which doesn't even matter anymore because John really did completely undone that shit. And then we've also got the Intergalactic Empire Wakanda stuff, where he discovers that something he did during Secret Wars led to the creation of an entire empire of Wakanda beyond the stars that encompasses multiple planets, including the Clintar. So it's awesome. It's really awesome. And it was a little confusing at first. But once again, I say if you read it in one sitting, not the whole thing, but just the Intergalactic Empire Wakanda arc, at least the first like 7 or 8 issues, it makes a lot more sense as you go along. But that said, that's my recommended. So yeah, highly recommend. Let's get into our questions from the Discord. Let's see here. Here it is. Let's see what we got. Okay. Oh my God. Let's see. We got one from the homie Melvin. I was reading some tweets about there not being any non-white telepathy people in. I think they saw this from. I think it might have been from Black Nerd Problems. I think I saw them talking about it, or it was somebody else. But yeah, it said not being any non-white telepathy people in Marvel or in DC. I got to know, is this true, or am I missing some people? Looking at the psychic battle that takes place with Jean Grey, Professor X, and even Legion, no brown or let me say no black or brown folk. There are black and brown telepaths in Marvel. I think that we just don't think about them. The main one is Monet. Monet St. Croix is a telepath. She's not the most powerful. Okay, it's trying
just not want us to go over, bro.
Dude, hey, I mean, if that's the case, it's the case. But yeah, her power, Monet's power is more focused on her flight, her superhuman strength, and durability, more so than her telepathy. As I'm sitting here thinking about it, you could also count, I mean, Amal Farouk is a whole brown person, who is a telepath, empath as well, if I'm not mistaken. And, I mean, right now, I'm kind of struggling to think of more. Oh, Cerebra, who just recently reappeared. I think she's Pakistani. But she's a telepath, and she basically do the same thing that a Cerebro can do. So there's that. On telepaths that are black and brown, that is because the only one I'm thinking of is Battalion, and he's not even really a full-on telepath. His is kind of weird. But yeah, that is a thing. That is a thing. Let's go ahead and move on along. I was about to say, I think. Okay.
It's a response.
It's a response.
Melvin's question.
Yeah, I'm gonna leave a reminder here to them. This is the area for me and Carter to answer questions on the Blerd Cave. There you go. Just putting that out there, Baloney Justice. Let's see here. Let's go on our next, because I was really worried. It is doing it again. Good Lord. So it got me thinking, what are both of your favorite performances of the year, movie or TV show wise? Carter, I'm blanking.
Me too.
I tell you what. You know what? I tell you what. No, it's easy. It's easy. Kirby Howell Baptiste as Death in The Sandman. There you go. Done and done. Done and done.
I can't think of it. That's a lot that's a lot, man.
Yeah, it is. It's a lot to consider.
I'm sorry, Shadow the Cat. I do not have an answer for you right now. I got to think on that one.
Yeah, I was about to say that's a tough one. That's a tougher one. Stinger the Nine Ball says, "What up, fellas? Or what up, peoples? Actually, got a nice question for you that is pretty fun, maybe to us, but not to David Zaslav." Says, with them having the Justice Society in the movie, I could see them doing a movie or show with it. Who would you pick as other members they could show off? For me personally, since Cyclone was made a woman of color in this movie, I could see her grandma, Red Tornado, in a mini short movie being a hero during Jim Crow America, defending her neighborhood from racist lynch mobs and Klansmen. For me, I would have to say I would like to see Mr. Terrific or Jakeem Thunder. Those would be some of the ones I would want to see. And I'm always down for a Jay Garrick. I'm always down for an appearance by Jay Garrick. The Spectre would also be cool too. So yeah, what you got, Carter?
Is Alan Scott a Green Lantern?
Yeah, he is. Just not in the same way that Hal and Kyle and John and them are. He's a different kind of Green Lantern.
Okay. I don't know.
But to give you an idea, if this helps you out, I'm going to put up an image that might help you out. Here you go. This is actually a shot of pretty much everyone that is in the Justice Society to some degree or another.
Oh, no. Well, my answer off rip, just to make people mad, would have been Thomas Wayne. Because it would make not a lick of sense. Just like it didn't make a lick of sense when he was helping Bane beat up Bruce. And plus, with
I don't have shit to do one thing with the other.
No, but what I'm saying is, it didn't make sense there, and it ain't gonna make sense now. But make it make sense, DC. So yeah, or you know what? Just to go even more to the right, President Superman.
Anyway, moving on along. Rough Rider says, what are your thoughts on the brawl? Oh, on Brawl Out, the Young Bucks, Kenny Omega, CM Punk situation. Honestly, I think they're making the right decision. The rumor around the campfire is that CM Punk and Tony Khan are negotiating a buyout of his contract, and he will just quietly go away. Because apparently the rumor around the campfire in the IWC, for those who know what that means, that's Internet Wrestling Community, is that no one in the AEW locker room really likes CM Punk right now. Like, there were people who liked him at first, but like the more that he got screen time, TV time, and the more that Tony Khan kept leaning on him, the bigger CM Punk's head got, and the more of a fool he kept acting, and a lot of his promos kind of shit on the AEW product. Like, the idea that, you know, when he was talking about, and granted, a lot of what he said about Hangman isn't entirely wrong, but in the context of doing it in a promo, he was basically saying Hangman's never done anything of importance, and it's like, well, he was AEW champion. So now you're saying that AEW championship ain't worth shit, is basically what you're saying. Like, it's one of those things, like, he said some really terrible things about the AEW product without actually saying them. if that makes any sense. So as much as I would hate to see CM Punk go, I'm perfectly fine with it. I would rather AEW get themselves back on track, get away from this mess, and get back to business as usual. But I think Tony Khan learned a really harsh lesson about giving the people what they want. Sometimes, what was it? What was it? Famed chaos theory scientist Ian Malcolm, played by Jeff Goldblum, said, you spend so much time worried about whether or not you could, you didn't ask whether or not you should. And that's the problem with the whole CM Punk thing. I love CM Punk, but if he has to go to maintain stability of the AEW locker room, then bye. I mean, I like CM Punk. I love CM Punk, but I don't love him that much. Anyway, with that, let's move on to the next one. We got one from the Elite X1, who said, let's see what we got here. Says, was looking at some respect threads online and I started wondering, can we get Blerd Koa's head of the table to give us his top smartest persons in Marvel Comics list? Seems like I recall Peter Parker having been on those old lists at one point. Well, I think that list has actually changed dramatically over the last few years. But Carter, what do you think?
I like the question, but then I got angry because it seems like I recall Peter Parker having been on one of those lists. He was, and then there are several people that don't want him to be smart. They just want Parker luck and him to be broke. So before I could answer the question, I read the Peter Parker portion and then just got salty again because
I think
reminded of Parker Industries and FF with the Hickman stuff, and I'm like, it's really nice when they write him as not just being some broke white boy.
Well, I mean, here's the thing. I think he is still one of the smartest people. I just think the landscape has changed. Is he still one of the smartest people? Probably. There's been a lot of other characters who've come in who have proven that they're just as smart as some of the other smartest characters, and that's where I think things get a little weird. Because, technically, while Reed Richards, Dr. Doom, Valeria Richards, Black Panther, you got Iron Man, Bruce Banner, Hank Pym, Hank McCoy, Spider-Man. You have all those characters who are incredibly smart. Well, you can't forget that they've actually introduced some characters very recently. And Amadeus Cho is not as much as recent a character as a lot of people think. Amadeus Cho was around for a while before he ever actually got Hulk powers. But Amadeus Cho is proven he's incredibly smart. Riri Williams, Ironheart, has already proven she's incredibly smart. Lunella, Moon Girl, of the Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur team, she is, in canon, been proven to be one of the smartest people on the planet. That's kind of her whole thing, is that she's smarter than just about everybody else. So yeah, when you start adding all that up, yeah, it changes dramatically the landscape of who is smarter than the other. What's a good point to bring up is, do you remember, Carter, the scene that was, I think it was in Black Panther Man Without Fear, where Black Panther's hanging out with Spider-Man? Or rather, Spider-Man's hanging out with Black Panther.
I know you're talking about, yeah.
Yeah, and there's a part where Spider-Man is like, I think he makes a mention of Black Panther being one of the smartest people in the Marvel Comics universe. He sets a number on it, and Black Panther corrects him. If I'm trying to remember the actual, I'm actually trying to find it, because I've seen it around. But yeah, basically just know that, yeah, Spider-Man or no, here it is. I found it. It didn't even take me long. Cool. So this was in, it was Black Panther, Man Without Fear. This shot right there. He calls Black Panther the 9th smartest man in the world. He says 8th. Like, he corrects him, says, no, I'm the 8th smartest man in the world. Like, it's stuff like that. So yeah, I mean, there's lots of characters, and honestly, I feel like I would have to really sit down and do some granular reading to hammer it down to like a if I were to do it like a top 10, there'd be a lot of characters a lot of people love that wouldn't make that list. Especially considering some mistakes they make. Because the thing is, because when people think about smartest, they think about book smarts. Like how like intelligent they are. They never talk about wisdom or common sense. And those two very different things for being smart. And we've seen a lot of really smart people do a lot of dumbass shit. Like I know a lot of people like to complain about Reed in Multiverse of Madness, but the truth of the matter is he's done infinitely dumber shit in the comics. And he is supposed to be one of the smart. He is generally regarded as the smartest person in the Marvel Comics universe. And that's another thing. We haven't even brought up Blue Marvel. Blue Marvel is considered to be just as like to be on par with Reed Richards. So once again, the landscape is constantly changing. But I've actually thought about, you know what? Maybe that's a thing I might consider that. I actually might consider doing a respect video. Because I normally don't do them, because I always feel like they're always subject to change. But like, I would do it. If everyone actually showed some interest in it, I would probably do a video of like of a revised, maybe top 10 smartest people in the Marvel Comics universe. I would do it if there was interest. So y'all tell me. Anyway, what we got is LJ Brown. With the question here says, when Universal Comcast takes over Warner Brothers DC, do you think DC will finally get their house in order, because 2024 is 2 years away? P.S. Carter, I'm a Justice League Unlimited. He says I'm at the Justice League Unlimited episode where Carter Hall is a stalker. Dude, oh my god, Carter, what do you think? Do you think they can get their act together if they get some new leadership? Because David Zaslav clearly ain't it.
Not in 2 years, because even though certain people like to think that like that is an extended period of time, like when it comes to certain mutants in Marvel, and 3 years is really a long time. 2 years to get an entire media conglomerate put together? No, absolutely not.
No,
absolutely. I think Batgirl and other things like that won't be the first ones that we see get snatched away from people.
I'm gonna laugh when that Flash movie come out and it ain't as good as it's been advertised. I'm gonna laugh.
I mean, look what Dwayne Johnson been saying about Black Adam, and Black Adam wasn't like that. So
well, no. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about how DC has been hyping it up.
Well, DC, they have to.
Well, no.
Brought up mental health. You can't say anything bad about mental health. You can't call someone out for being full of shit about mental health, because then you look like a prick, even though you should be 100% right.
Oh no, I 100% agree, but I'm just saying everybody, and it's not even just DC. This is one of those situations where, like, yeah, Black Adam, you can blame The Rock for that, but it's been not just DC and Warner Brothers, it's been everyone else too. Like general audience, people saying, "Oh yeah, man," test audiences are saying that the Flash movie is getting scores similar to The Dark Knight. Okay. All right. Okay. When that movie come out and it's some hot trash, I'm gonna laugh. Look, Carter, I don't get to do this. I don't get to do this very often, but you know what's gonna happen, right, Carter?
What's gonna happen? You don't like any of that shit anyway. I mean, but that's the thing, though. You don't like any of that shit anyway. And my thing was,
but what do you mean?
Like it.
What do you mean I don't like it?
You don't like Ezra Miller's Flash anyway. That's number one.
No, of course not.
But my thing was, you don't.
I can still watch a movie with him in it, and
you can
objectively.
But my thing is, you don't even like Ezra Miller's Flash, I'm just going to see it because Michael fucking Keaton. So
if Michael Keaton only in that movie for 5 minutes, I'm a holler.
Well, it's him and Ben Affleck because I'm a fan of Ben Affleck's Batman.
Yeah,
so
I like him too.
We're going to see it for every other reason.
Yeah.
Except the main.
Dude, let me tell you something. I'm more interested in the motherfucker playing Supergirl than I am the motherfucker playing Flash. Let's just be real. Let's get to questions from the chat. We're gonna give it 10 minutes and then we're out because we kind of went off on tangents here again. Let's see here. Let's see. Let's see here. Oh, wait, we do have one more question from Discord I didn't answer. It says, this is from Urban Prince Strong Style. It says, Blerd Carter, my question today is, does Blue Marvel care about black people? Yes. Is it? I mean, I know he married a white woman, but, you know. And he got some half-black kids, but that don't mean nothing.
Is he not with, I almost said
Monica Rambeau?
I almost said Tiana Parrish.
You ain't shit. Anyway, let's see here. Wait, well, you know, let's stay on the same energy. Bruce Leroy, the real McCoy, says, how is Blue Marvel as smart as someone who actually invents ish? You want to know why? And this tells me you haven't read a Blue Marvel comic. He actually does invent stuff. Blue Marvel created something Reed couldn't create. So, yeah. I would say that makes him a lot smarter than most people. So, yeah, here's what I would say, dude. Don't do what I've seen Carter do in the past. Don't go based off information that you've learned about a character when they show up in someone else's book or in a team book. Go read their actual comic. And
what
then,
have I done that on?
You did that with Captain Marvel. You thought Captain Marvel was supposed to be one way because it was based on, because you even said yourself, you say you never read her comics, you'd only ever read her when she was in like Avengers or something. And I was like,
she was Miss Marvel?
Yeah, when she was Miss Marvel.
Okay.
And I was like, you need, and even then it was still, you were still off the mark. But the thing is, a lot of times when characters show up in a team book, that means they're not going to be the focus of anything. So you don't learn as much about a character in a team book versus when you see them in their actual comic. So I would say go read Legend of Blue Marvel and you will see why he's actually considered to be as smart as Reed Richards. But yes, he was able to create he was actually able to create a stable antimatter reactor, and that's something Reed was never able to do. Matter of fact, he himself has become a living antimatter reactor, something Reed also can't make. So I would say that puts him up there. Anyway, moving along. Let's see. Let's see. Bill says, did you see David Nakayama's new Judgment Day variant cover of Quanten's secondary Hellfire look for year 2 on Twitter? Seems it's more of a year 1 since the theme that year was Powers focus. I have not seen it. Let's see here. With regard to the last comments, Marvel are giving us stuff for how you feel, as in what mood are you in for. If you want something lighthearted, then Thor: Love and Thunder is great to watch. Oh, that's more of a statement than anything. Let's see. But yeah, that is also true. Is Raven still a member of the Teen Titans, or has she moved on to Young Justice or Justice League? I think she is still a Teen Titan. I know temporarily some of the Teen Titans became members of the Justice League for like a New York minute, but I think she's back to being Teen Titan again. Maybe. I could be wrong. Let's see here. I don't see anything going back this far. Some of these are repeat questions. Repeat. Let's see here. Is Defenders Beyond number 4 making its own Crisis on Infinite Earths in a roundabout way? That's kind of vaguely what they're doing. It's very multiverse. What exactly is an antimatter reactor? It's a reactor that houses antimatter. Just, I don't know any other way to say that plainly. I don't really know how else to put it. Let's see here. Oh! This man. Jonathan Moda coming through with the 99. This man just hit us for max damage in Final Fantasy. With a 99.99 says, didn't forget, just adulty today. My best to y'all and Carter. I'm still on it. Check your messages for the latest update.
I have. That's who I've been typing to while you've been answering questions. I just responded, Jonathan. So again,
there you go. There you go. Thank you for that, pimp. We got one here from BS Filter says, what non-DC Marvel comic would you guys like to see as a movie or comic series? East of West would make a good TV show.
It's a tie between Southern Bastards and American Vampire.
American Vampire, I think, would make a good TV show. I think it would. And then, will you ever make a video around Mark Millar's Prodigy? It's funny you say that. I actually have been angling to do it. I've just been very lazy about doing it. But I actually have been wanting to do a video about that character. For those who are unfamiliar, because it's and funny that we were literally just talking about smartest characters in the Marvel universe. One of the things that never really comes up is characters outside of it. And Prodigy there was a character that was actually supposed to get a Netflix TV show. Prodigy was supposed to get a Netflix series, and to my understanding, it has yet to happen. But
I
for
didn't
those,
even know that.
Yeah, it was supposed to get one because remember Mark Millar sold the rights to Netflix for all his stuff, all the Millar.
I
World
thought
stuff.
it was just gonna be the Jupiter's Legacy shit.
No, it was everything.
Okay,
anything considered under his brand.
Yeah,
Netflix has right to, and they are actually developing a Prodigy series. But for those that don't know, Prodigy is basically about this character. I think is it Edison Crane? I think is his name. I can't remember exactly. I'm probably blanking. But point of the matter is, he's a character who is ridiculously smart. He is not actually superpowered though. He's not a superpowered character at all. He is legitimately just a normal dude who is just really fucking intelligent. And he spends a lot of time, he spends a ridiculous amount of time trying new things, doing new things, pushing himself to his limit. I was right, it is Edison Crane. That was off memory. Because it's been a minute since I've read, I've been keeping up with the new series as much, but yeah, he's just ridiculously smart. He knows pretty much everything there is to know about anything. Like, honestly, if he was in the Marvel Comics universe, he would be the smartest motherfucker in the world. Speaking of hell, and actually taking that one step further. Let's see what we got here. What are we doing here? What are we doing here? We're doing here. Have you heard of the possible 2030 Marvel DC crossover? We've actually talked about it before because it was rumored. It technically was first rumored in Doomsday Clock, but I'm not holding my breath. So there you have it. Have you heard about Al Ewing writing Apocalypse and Genesis Return on X-Men Red on this week's X-Men Monday? If you add Karen Gillan writing Selene later on in Immortal X-Men, we'll be seeing a big Externals return. I had a feeling that if Apocalypse would come back, it would be during Al Ewing's X-Men Red, but I haven't really been keeping up with any of the stuff they say on all the different podcasts and shit.
Is Genesis just a character I don't know about, or are they actually talking about the Apocalypse Kid, Genesis?
Okay, so Ten of Swords. The woman who is Apocalypse's wife, that is Genesis. So yeah. If if you had not, for anyone that had forgotten, this is Genesis.
Okay.
She was the one who was wearing the mask of annihilation, or the helm of annihilation, whatever it was referred to, in Ten of Swords, and was the one leading Apocalypse's children in the Ten of Swords crossover event. And in the end of that storyline, they rode off into the sunset together. So that is her. Let's see. Would you say Mr. Terrific is smarter than Mr. Fantastic? It depends on what it's about. Because Mr. Terrific has done some pretty crazy stuff. He's invented tons of crazy things too, not too dissimilar from Reed. If anything, and this is going to seem like a cop-out answer, I would say honestly, they're both... It depends on who is writing the characters at the time that will determine to me how smart they are versus the other. Because there's times where Reed is so smart it almost hurts, and there's other times where he's written to be like really smart, but not like game-breaking smart. And they do the same thing with Mr. Terrific. If anything, I would say that what's the difference for me is who I think is the more interesting character. Which I will say Mr. Terrific any day of the week. Let's see here. Let's see here. Yep, I think that's it, Carter. Let's go out on that note. I think that is a good enough note to go out on for me. Anyway, thank you all so much for watching the show. Carter, did you have anything you wanted to say before we head out?
No.
And with that, I am ready to rock. Let's get out of here. I'm going to go work on stuff. Maybe potentially some things that were just suggested to me. And with that, I want to say thank you everybody who chatted, super chatted, asked questions, shared, liked, all that good stuff. We will be back next week, as always, with more, with the 178th episode of the Blerd Cave, for Blerd Koa, for Earth's Mightiest Subscribers, for Carter Presents. I am the Blerd Without Fear. And David Zaslav, you can go to hell.
Bye.